How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And do I even call this an interview anymore? It's
I
more
don't
like
know.
a conversation.
I,
I feel
I,
like
I,
you're just part of this now.
it felt very professional, that introduction of yours. That
It's
was
what I do.
great.
It's what I do. It's my professional voice. It's my
Yeah, yeah,
car
yeah.
salesman's voice.
Could you sell cars?
I probably could.
Would you think you
Maybe in
would
another life.
enjoy
Would
it?
I? No, I don't want to. But would I? Maybe in another life I could have. Yeah.
I think I would be the worst salesman in the world. I think like that is the one sort of type of people that I can't fucking stand. Just people are like, I'm a salesman. I can sell whatever. Like, oh, cool. Fuck off. Like, it's
Oh,
just like,
those
come on.
guys. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
just the people that'll be like, there are no problems, there are only challenges. Fuck off. Love them.
Um, by the way, everybody, thank you for joining us. I am here with Torunn Grønbekk, who I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If you're easily offended, if you don't like strong language, if you don't like jokes that are in your face, I'm just going to say this is not safe for work or children. So hide your wife, hide your kids,
How did we get
go grab a
here,
drink.
Omar? How did this happen? I was
To
complaining.
America or this
No,
conversation?
that a conversation with me needs that sort of disclaimer. I'm sorry. I'll try to be good.
Oh, no,
I
be yourself.
no, I can't. There's no, like, it's Sunday night. I've had a fucking awful winter. It's been a dreadful 4 months or whatever the fuck it is, and I don't think I can talk to anyone without just it's gonna just come out of me. But I do very
You
much
let it out.
enjoy.
You let it
Uh,
out.
I lost the S key on my Mac right before I had a bunch of deadlines. By the way, it was a great time, and I posted it on my Instagram stories, and someone uh, answered the Instagram story and just went, "There's no S in pegging," and I was like, "Yeah, that's true." And then, like 45 seconds later, I was, fucking that's the one condition thing. Yeah, sure. Yeah, great. Love it.
If
Sorry, Max, I never replied to you. I got it eventually. Because I was just like, yeah, I know how to spell pegging. I don't know. That's my brand. It's great.
That's your brand. I love that that's become your brand.
The
And people are
reindeer and
googling for the
pegging.
first time, what is pegging? With Marvel Comics, Carnage pegging or something like
Pegging.
that. Because they,
Yeah.
by the way, so Torunn is an amazing writer, not just an amazing human being, but also a writer. On Carnage currently, she's got some war comics, some kick-ass comics from 2080 Rebellion, and working on other projects like Red Sonja, which is kicking ass. What else are you working on these days? Do you have any secret projects you can't talk about?
Yes, I do. I have a fucking. It's a huge one. It's
A
a
huge
it's
one.
it's a big one. It's my. I wouldn't. It's not necessarily my first ongoing, because I am writing Venom at the moment, like with Al, and I am writing Carnage at the moment. But this one is sort of the first big character that I've gotten to do sort of my own thing completely.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try not to sort of, because I would be crucified if I told anyone. Just saying, it's a joy in my life. It's the star on the sky of fucking nonsense and shit. This winter, it's been. I'm sorry, I'm
That's
complaining. I'm just saying, I wish we got like another snowfall yesterday. Like,
uh-huh.
it was just like it's been, the only thing I can say is like, at least we got some sun today. That was nice, but it's just we can stop now. We can stop with the snow. We can stop with we would like some spring. That would be good. Nice
Uh,
and so.
yeah, I'm not. I don't know how you feel, but in the state of Kentucky, Christmas, white Christmas, snow, cool. After Christmas, the snow can go away until the next Christmas because I'm not a fan of it. And people forget in this state of Kentucky how to drive. I don't know
Yeah.
if they would ever, but
See, that's the thing. I always find that very funny when people, like, I live in Norway, and we do technically know how to drive in the snow, just
mhm.
not the first day. That's and I just and I wonder if it's just people being like, well, I've driven for 30 years. Of course I can drive in summer tires and snow. It's gonna be fine. Like, because they're just cars just everywhere. It's interesting. But we've had snow since mid-October, like on the ground mid-October.
That's a
Uh
long time for snow, Torun. You're in
um,
March. Is that normal? That normal?
Well, usually it just fucks off for a little while. Like we'll get some snow in October, then it'll go away for a bit, and then maybe we'll have full-on snow by Christmas. But now it's just been on the ground right there since mid-October, and we are all sick of it.
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do that. But so God bless you for living in Norway, and all you people that live there in that weather. You got to be made of sterner stuff. But we have had this conversation before. Yes, this is definitely part of my birthday celebration stream. I was like, who's my one comic creator that I love talking to? So nobody go and tell Chris Claremont, please. But it's got to be Torunn Grønbekk, who's the one person that most of my viewers want back. It's always you. They were like, when are you going to have her back? Why isn't she part of the show already? And I was like, because she's busy writing and she has like a deadline and she has no S key apparently on her keyboard.
It makes me so fucking happy. But it's one of those things. Like I had the principal of my kid's school. She has this idea that I'm such a good person, and she keeps telling people like, oh yeah, Torunn, she's such a good person. And I know this because people who actually know me are like, this cunt thinks you're a good person, right? And they're laughing their asses off. So every time I meet her now, I sort of cosplay a good person. I'm like, yeah, like I there's a voice involved, like it's a nightmare. And I feel the same now. You keep telling me that I'm funny and you're a good guest. I'm freaking out here. I don't know what to say or do.
We'll go with the flow. We never know what we're going to be talking about, but there's a lot of people here that are here just for you. Like seriously. Because they love your work and they love when you come on the show. We actually have a super sticker from Elon. Torunn, if I had to rank you from 1 to 10, you would be a 9, and I would be the 1 for you. You can pick me anytime or peaked in 83. You just had to throw the last part in there, didn't you, man?
It's beautiful. It's good to know. I had a guy once who came up. I was doing a signing. Did I tell you this? I can't remember what horrible things I've told you.
You've told me a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's the problem. I can't remember what I told you behind the scenes, what I told on the light, because I would never rewatch this nonsense because I would hate myself. But I had a guy come over at a signing, and he sort of went just like, for your information, basically, like when you want to stomp on someone's balls, mine are at your disposal. And I was like, I don't know, if I yell at him, he's gonna be into the yelling, right? So I can't really give him the yelling either. So I was just like, I don't know how to respond to this in a appropriately fuck off way. I don't know.
How do you respond nowadays when you come over to like conventions and you've noticed a change, right? Where people are like recognizing you from all your work you've been doing recently. How's that? Does it get to your head? You're like, oh, people like does you ever get tired of hearing, oh my gosh, I love your fill in the blank?
Oh no, I love that. The thing is, my head is, again, I can't remember if I told you this, but I was having a huge signing in America, and I was at a comic book store, and I was walking past the block, and there was a huge line, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then halfway through the line, I was like, oh my god, it's me! I'm going on.
Isn't that wonderful?
And I walked into that store with the biggest ego known to me. Like I was just like, ah! And then I got there, I'm like, hey, I'm Torunn Grønbekk. And they're like, yeah, he's going to be here in a minute. And I'm like, I'm Torunn Grønbekk. And they're like, yes, he's going to be here in a minute. You have to go. And my ego sort of like, yeah, we're back. Yeah. No, I don't know. It is what it is.
Well, when, I'll be honest with you, when I first saw your work, I saw your name in the Valkyrie book that you were co-writing at the time with Jason Aaron and then Al Ewing. And I was like, oh, and then you took over the book, and I thought, this guy's really good. And then I can't remember who it was. Somebody said, oh, Torunn means Thor's daughter. And I was like, oh, it's a lady. I mean, I don't know if I'd call you
a lady, please.
So
every time I go to Poland, they call me Madame, like Madame this, Madame
that. Oh, yeah, somebody just said Madame Grønbekk. You're one of the best guests of all time. Look at that. P.S. Omar, how was your birthday? My birthday was amazing, and it's still amazing because I get to talk to Torunn live.
And he's still a little bit drunk.
I'm not gonna lie. I told her ahead of time. I'm a little bit still.
Again, if I'd known, I would have started drinking myself. Like it's 7 o'clock.
It's never
in
too
Norway.
late to start.
No, that's true. It's just
arm's reach.
Studio booze. I don't know. We'll see how How many horrible things I say in the first half hour? We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't do snow or the cold, no matter when it is. I hate it.
So
I
what's
feel
the
that
plan then, Logan? Where do you what do you
you go to
do? You
Florida. People go
just
to in America. People go to Florida. Yeah, it's 80s in Florida. Good lord. See what I'm
don't
saying?
you have to deal with like the Floridians? I've never been to Florida. I can't fucking wait to go because it just seems like but like the best place. Just
You got Disney
seems
World.
I would last 35 seconds in Disney World. Like what do you do? Like what do you do?
You
Uh,
you 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 you. Your inner child would love it. You're like, oh my gosh, it's Winnie the Pooh, and it's a
my
ride.
inner child I don't know. You have to take my inner child somewhere else to have a good time. The thing is, it might be amazing, right? Like Jason Aaron, he goes to Disney World every time, like every possibility he can, and he always like, "You want to go?" And it
Oh,
might be,
yes, he does love it.
yeah, but it's just maybe it's fun with someone who loves it and knows what to do. I don't
Mm.
know, but it just seems to I don't know. What do you do? Like, what do you do? When would you in
I've
Disney
been
World
I've
last
been
time?
to Disney World just twice. Once when I was younger with my friend who got me in for free because his sister worked there, and then once with Melanie and the girls. And through them they had fun, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. We spent a week there and got to ride all the rides, and it's constantly waiting in line and in the heat, and yeah. So you got to be in for that, and you got to like roller coasters,
Not selling it at all.
water parks. I don't think they serve. No, they do serve beer. There was something really cool that Melanie and I did. It was the wine tasting around the world because they have the Epcot Center, which is like for adults, and Epcot is like
I know.
it's more about science and things like that. So what you
Right.
do is you walk around, and every country that has wine is stationed there with their particular wine. That was really fun.
That might be something. Every time anyone I know is in the Norwegian part of Epcot, they will text me pictures of like strange pastries. Like, oh, this is what you eat every day. I'm like, yeah, yeah, sure. That's all we
This is
eat.
what you eat every day.
Like cinnamon, whatever the fuck. That's what we eat. Which
Oh,
is not. I mean, it's not too far off, but you know. But you have to answer like, how was the party? That was a question you had.
the party was a lot of fun. I had a lot of my friends over here and some family, and I don't remember ending the night, but I was at Waffle House. Torunn, I invited you to Waffle House before, haven't I? I said, when you come to America, if I go to Norway, you're gonna make me reindeer stew, and if you come to America, I'm taking you out to Waffle House after we go to a convention.
See, I
Like a real
desperately want
gentleman.
to go, like, because the thing is, I'm when I grew up, like, I had one huge hero, and that was Bill Hicks.
Oh my
And
god, I
yeah,
love that you love Bill Hicks. Of course you love Bill Hicks.
yeah, it's one of those. I don't really
Dude,
care about.
anytime I ever saw Dennis Leary on, I was like, he's doing Bill Hicks freaking thing.
Yeah, but
Ah,
then again, like but he has the Waffle House thing, like
I forgot about that.
he
Yeah.
goes in the Waffle House, and the waitress asks, "What are you reading for?" Yeah, answers, yeah. What am
Bill
I
Hicks was
reading
a guy
for?
we lost way too fucking young.
Yeah,
That
but I
guy
mean,
was
he might
amazing.
have fucked it up though. Like, can you imagine Bill Hicks doing this world right now? You
No,
think?
it would be like George Carlin or Richard Pryor, Rhett Fox. Those guys, no. I think they would still do their own thing and wouldn't give a crap.
Yeah, but
And they would certainly be canceled,
cancelled a long
probably.
time. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it would be interesting. But I'm sort of like, he is like, every time people ask me like, so what celebrity would you like? I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit, except for Bill Hicks. Like, that would be something.
Dude was a rock star of comedians. I loved it.
Yeah.
Man. Happy birthday, Omar Torunn. Any chance of a Hella solo series? I don't think the character has ever had a solo book before.
I mean, I would write it if they wanted to. I'll ask Marvel if they would like it. I have an artist. I'm not going to say his name, but he has worked on some Thor things previously, and he's so excited to do more. So he keeps texting me like, "Hey, maybe you can you ask about this? Can you ask about that?" And I just that it would be so fun to do something more in that sort of the Norse mythology space. Not that not uh like the symbiote nonsense that I'm doing right now. I don't think I've ever had more fun ever.
Oh,
Like it's
Melanie's
just
loving your Carnage. I know that she messages you about how great you are
lo-
at writing.
I love that.
She loves the symbiote. So
See, that's something I do love that someone loves the symbiotes. Um, as much as I apparently now do, it's a fascinating thing. But I do sort of miss the Norse mythology, sort of the mythic nonsense. I do miss it a little bit. But I
Mhm.
there will be a sort of I'm trying to, but both Carnage and Venom, I'm trying to keep it as sort of street as possible, because every time you go to like big and mythic with symbiotes, it's sort of, I don't know, it's this sort of loses something. I feel like I do love the visuals of symbiotes going at it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I could
But they're,
tell.
yeah, I mean, it's so cool. Like we had like Perry's art is just outstanding, and now with Ken Lashley doing Venom 31, that was pure
I've
joy.
been a big fan of Ken for years. I think he's one of the most underrated artists out there. I
Yeah,
know he's not as quick as other folks, but his art is just spectacular.
the thing is, like with Ken, and I don't, Ken, if you're watching this, you're fucking brilliant. I love you. We had a sort of like we have that's like a symbiote Slack where we all will talk, and every time we get anything from Ken, we're sort of getting together, being like, look at it, and we just. But sometimes it'll be like, oh, that's not what we wrote. Like I wrote. We'll have to change it because we just have to adjust to Ken's brilliance, and it's usually for the better. I don't know. So good. A
Yeah,
little
but
like it's always a little like, will he make the deadline? But I mean, did
he's
very
good
much
though.
so in Venom 31, and it looks magical.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I've been following that series, and it's grown to be one of my favorite Marvel series because of everything going on. Because at first I was like, "What the hell is Ram V and Al Ewing doing with Venom? This doesn't make any sense." And now it's like it's not making any sense, but I'm loving it because not making any sense is the kind of stories that I like when there's a payoff, and there's been payoffs so many times. It's been really fun.
Well, I do. It is fascinating when people try to make Marvel characters make sense over several decades.
Mhm.
That doesn't necessarily work, and I find it interesting when people go like they came off Donny Cates's and the King in Black and everything. And if we're gonna if everything's gonna make sense, it's gonna be there might be some things in there that people will react to, I suppose. But I think as a sort of standalone, this is what they're doing, this is the plan. It's been excellent, and I've sort of tagged along and added the Carnage stuff, and now we're doing. At least the issues that I'm doing now, I feel like it's very much me, but I do hope it's sort of serving the larger narrative that Al is cooking up, which is going to be interesting.
I got to drink with Al Ewing at New York Comic Con, and it was a blast because I love the way he talks. Kind of reminds me of the I told Melanie I compare him to an ant because he's so tall and the way he talks. But I had a blast talking to him about Secret Wars 2 that I apparently he loves.
Oh
And
yeah, it comes up.
I didn't know anybody liked Secret Wars 2, and he was like, "No, I'm serious. I love it." Like,
Yep. And it is a sort of slow thing, and like we will have these great sort of Zoom sessions, and he'll just keep the conversation and just keep it hostage while he's figuring things out. And you have to just learn to be like, oh, there's going to be some brilliance at the end of this. You
oh
just have to be
yeah.
patient and just wait, and then there's the solution to the problem, which is great.
Much like the way that he tells stories in comic book format. A little bit of
Mhm.
a slow burn. What's going on? What are you trying to say? Get it out. Oh, you got it out and I wasn't ready.
It's gonna break all of your everything. That's the problem. But it's good. It's good.
You know, one thing we have never talked about as many times as I've had you on the show is not only are you a talented writer,
Thank you.
but you're also an amazing artist. I don't know if people don't follow you on Instagram, like
Yes.
you are an amazing painter, and
Thank you.
I didn't I didn't know if people knew that about you or not.
Well, I think it is a sort of I wonder if the painting sort of helped me, because I've never painted any sort of comics, anything. I might do a cover now. I've said
Oh
yes to do a
shit,
cover.
really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, but the thing is, like, it's so hard, and if the editor is gonna come back and be like, hey, do you have to tweak this nonsense? I might be uh miffed.
Wait,
I don't know.
apparently drunk Omar praised her. I forgot I was drinking the last time you were on, and I was
Oh,
so
drunk Omar is like, he's such a great Omar. The thing
thank you.
is,
Thank you.
me and
Not a
drunk
lot of people
Omar,
say
we
that.
kept drinking for like 3.5 hours after the
After
last
the
stream.
stream,
It was great.
it was so fun to talk to you
That
after
was
that.
that was the best.
It was.
But thank you, drunk Omar, from last time. I mean,
Yeah, thank
it's
you for remembering
yeah,
sober. Who was it? Sober James, or no, Josh. Thank you all for reminding me.
good
So
job.
apparently, I did talk about that. A bit off topic, but who do you, the both of you, want to write the new Wolverine series? The big one going around is Saladin Ahmed. Or actually, Peter, my buddy Peter M, and I are talking about the new X-Men books that are coming out at 6:30 today here on the show.
Cool.
I'm very excited about all the new books. I mean, it's I don't care how many times the X-Men get rebooted. Been reading those damn books for 40 years, and every time it happens, I get excited. It just doesn't matter. Like, it could be good, it could be bad, but during this time before the books come out is the best time to be an X-Men fan, because an era is ending, and then you got something right around the corner that's like, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and the thing is, people work so fucking hard to get the X-Men right, and I always
Yeah.
like it when people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna let down my inner child, my father, my everything. If I fuck up these books, I'm gonna kill myself," and that's how we get the X-Men. And as for Wolverine, like, Saladin would be fucking amazing. That would be something. Like,
He's
if
good.
we're
I love his Black Bolt. I love what he did. Miles Morales was a lot of fun. What else did he do? He did Miss Marvel, as far as like his ongoing stuff, and then of course he's done his independent stuff too. But he has a handle for these characters, and, give
and I mean,
give Wolverine
yes,
to Torunn.
yes, please give me
How,
Wolverine.
how
That
would you
is
how would you feel about that? Like, that is not okay. Thor is a huge character, and you have to write him. Not that you haven't written big characters before. I remember the first time I interviewed you were talking about how nervous you were about writing Spider-Man's first line.
yeah.
Such a cute story. If you haven't heard that, go back to that interview, because it's a really cute story about how nervous she was about.
And I just want to say, like, I'm writing a bunch of Spider-Man right now, like in this random thing. So spoiler, I don't know. I'm sorry. It's freaking me out, man. Like, it's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing in Marvel. Still the hardest thing in Marvel to get Spider-Man right.
As a fan of Bill Hicks, you should be able to channel your inner Bill Hicks and put it on Spider-Man.
But the thing is, it's a
Look at
little
this
too,
smart ass.
because I can, yeah, but it's a little too. It's a little too, like, Bill is more, it's a little nastier, I suppose, and I think Spider-Man is just, it needs to be light-hearted but still funny somehow. And it's
Mm.
it's it's so hard. But then again, Wolverine,
Yeah. Okay. That was my point, right? It was
yeah.
like, you've got Thor, who's a big character in Marvel. He's at movies, but when you're talking about Wolverine, like, would that pressure get to you? Is that something that you're like, oh no, give me Wolverine? I've got stories and ideas in my head that I've been wanting to get out.
No, I think no, I don't. The pressure, that's fine. I think that would be fine. I think the problem would be if someone were like, "We want the new Wolverine. Let's do something different. Let's like." I'm not the girl for that. I think I would like to do like Wolverine bar fights. Stupid. I would like to do like World War I Wolverine. I would like to do like, Soldier Wolverine. All of that nonsense. Like, it would
Oh, different
be,
times of Wolverine. Okay.
yeah, that could be something, but I wouldn't be like, well, this is he's found yoga, he's found inner peace, he's no longer fighting, he's just like that. That's someone else needs to do that nonsense.
So
Thank you, Matt.
you wouldn't take a job Wolverine where they're like, look, we killed Logan, he's gonna be replaced by a younger character.
It's with a young girl. She's gonna struggle with. No, I mean,
Yeah, so
it's
she's like,
probably fun. Just saying, what I
it's
would
all
like
his
to
powers.
do is to like put, like, we could do Vietnam. That would be fun. If we could do fun. It will be fun. That's the problem. I'm sorry. I'm trying
No,
to be.
no. Because you write war. I don't know if people are aware of this, but she does write war comics, and they're freaking phenomenal.
Thank
There
you.
is an anthology series that is being put out by 2080 that I mentioned a little bit earlier. Battle Action, and
Battle
it's
Action.
not just you; it's your buddy Garth Ennis that's also writing that stuff too.
And a bunch of other people, and I'm
Mhm.
not going to mention the one of them who is just wait until you hear who's joining us for next year. But yeah, we're doing. I'm doing Nina Petrova, who is one of the, like, we call them angels of death, but it's basically the night witches who were the uber cool, um, like the female night bomber regiment in during the Second World War. And the thing is, like, this is the sort of thing that I absolutely love. Like, it's just I've done more research on this than anyone has any right to do, just because I enjoy it so
Mhm.
much. I realized that all the history YouTube people taking a sort of slight right turn, which is interesting. So every time we get into the Eastern Front stuff now, they're, because it used to be like all the Germans are always bad, right? But now they're a little bit like, well, Stalin was bad too. And like, yeah, you didn't know? Good for you. Like, good
So,
personal growth
I
there.
was
But
about
then
to ask
again,
what kind of
doesn't make the
research are you?
Germans good though. Like, you have to just have to. They're all bad. It's all bad. But I mean,
There we
it's a
go.
fun time. Yeah.
Look,
But yeah, get
Alan,
battle
who
action.
has an avatar of Wolverine, is saying Torunn definitely has the right attitude to write Wolverine. We need
Hmm,
that to happen. Right. You don't shy
Alan.
away from these things, and you would be great at talking about it. About, for a character like that. And I think Mary Jo Duffy wrote him for a couple of issues. And I'm trying to think of other writers, like female writers, that have written the character. And off the top of my head, Mary Jo Duffy, I think, is the only one that I can think of. I mean, outside of Louise Simonson writing him in crossovers like an X Factor, but as far as like the Wolverine ongoing series, it's always been dudes writing the
I'm trying to
character.
remember. Like, let's have the chat tell us because they know
Oh, I'm sure
everything, which is
John or
always
James knows. James Abel, who you will
able.
one day use in one of your
Oh,
stories.
I have two fucking Ables in two different scripts right now, and I
You
have
hear that,
to.
James? Where's
I have to
James?
choose. I have to choose. I'm just gonna figure out because, and I have, like, I love them both, but like
Uh-huh.
at least one of them is gonna die, so that's gonna be a problem.
That would be an honor to get killed by Torunn Grønbekk's
But I did
script.
tell him that it was gonna happen. But yeah, it's a great name though, right? Like, it's
Oh, I
just
know. He was dude, you put him in cloud 9 the last time. Just finished the Immortal Hulk Omni. Thank you for the super chat, John. After seeing how Ewing handled the Fantastic Four in there, I want him to have the next crack after Ryan North finishes his run. Ryan North's series has been really fun, which this kind of leads to my question to you. You're writing all these stories. You have deadlines. Do you find time to read comics for fun anymore, that you're like, oh, my friend is working on that, or so and so is working, or I just love the character of Wolverine and I want to know what's going on?
well, I mean, usually I do, but this winter, as I said, it's been a fucking nightmare. It's just been one baffling incident after another, like including like a couple of deaths. Like, it's just been a nightmare. And I'm trying to sort of crawl out of this. The thing is, I'm fine. It's just the world is sort of crumbling around me. I don't know. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm writing. I'm talking to you right now, and then I'm going back to writing. I'm trying to sleep more just to make sure that, like, something is
You're
in
taking
order.
a break from writing to do this? You're so
Well, I,
sweet.
well, I mean, you can't write for like 18 hours straight, even though I try to. Like,
I think
that's not a
Stephen King
thing.
does.
Well, fuck him. Like, how?
I'm just I mean,
Stop.
it's saying it's possible. I'm just he also doesn't come to near mint condition and shoot the
I
shit.
don't.
So
Yeah, that's the thing, and I don't think he has any sort of anxiety or anything. Like, I don't see how that's possible if you're going to write for that. Like, because the thing is, like, I will be, like, right before we got on here, I finally broke the story that I've been battling with since Friday, um, and now it's going to be fun. Like, tonight, it's going to be great to sort of finish that off and get it over to Walter, who is waiting very patiently for the next Red Sonja thing. Um, but up until I know, like, what's going to happen on every page, it's a nightmare. And
mhm.
and the thing is, that's 90, I would say, 4% of all writing. It's trying to figure out where all the bits and pieces go, and then the fun begins. It's the last 6%. That's the fun stuff. So it's always a sort of like, it's like this weekend I've just been so annoyed at myself because I couldn't get over the sort of, I couldn't get there, and then I got there. That sounded vaguely naughty. I got there right before we started talking, and it's just it feels so fucking good. I don't know. So now it's gonna be fun.
But once you get there, it feels good.
Yeah,
It's the climb getting there that's the struggle sometimes.
yeah, and just figuring out where all the bits and pieces go, so you can just write. That's the
Oh,
thing.
before you answer this question, I just wanted to say, when you were talking about, I love doing research on this, I imagine you in this old library with like one light bulb, right? Or I'm sorry, maybe not even a light bulb, but like candlelight,
Candles,
reading
sure.
all these old books. But then you were like, so I'm watching these YouTube videos. And I thought, oh, maybe that's the research nowadays.
No. The thing is, I do all of the nonsense. I like the reading, and I like the sitting in the actual fucking. Like I had a moment. I was at the cabin, and the electricity went out for like quite a while. So I just had like the fireplace and the candles, and it was lovely. You get a lot of stuff done like that. But what I like to do when I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing, when I'm just sort of fucking around at the beginning of a script, I like to have something on in the background. And that is usually like whatever I'm doing, it's usually some sort of like troop movements in the, you know, on the Eastern Front or something. Like it's always some sort of someone drolling on about history somewhere, and it's always miserable. And like my when I go to sleep, I listen to the Max Hastings books, which is
Mhm.
he's my favorite historian. And it's always like I've read these books so many times now, and I do have them on audiobooks. I fall asleep to like the drawing of history. And I had the other day 9 months ago, the other day,
I understand that.
time,
I
whatever it
know.
is.
It's not
um
real.
my kid came in just as there's this like he's talking about the war in the Pacific, and how there's a Japanese woman throwing her kids over the cliff because she's so scared of the Americans. And my kid came in, and she's like, "What are you listening to?" I'm just like, "Oh, it's just so I can go to sleep." She's like, "Okay, cool, mommy. It's great."
That's great, mom.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
all right, so here's a question for you, and we have several questions, by the way, and a couple of comments. I'll highlight, I promise. When working on Thor, what new do you want to bring into? So, what's something new that you want to bring into the story?
Well, I suppose what I always want to bring in the old stuff, like the myths that I kind of grew up on, and there are a bunch of myths that they haven't done anything on Marvel. So I would always like to do sort of the things that I grew up with, and it could be like we have local like Thor myths, I suppose, or stories about like that there are just things that happen around here. And I always like to sort of add in some mythology, and then because it's Marvel and sort of on speed, you can do sort of the pop version of it with like the colorful pop version of the mythology. But that's kind of what I'd like to do more of. So I would like to I we we had a moment in the last Thor run where we had Loki and Thor as kids, and we could sort of get a brief moment of them when they were not kids, but like teenagers or 20s or whatever they
Mhm.
are when they're godly and young. Um, and I think there would be could be some really cool sort of young Thor and Loki fucking around stories. That would be something.
I think there's always plenty of that. You know, I okay, so honestly, I forgot to come back to this, and I would say, yeah, Torunn
Mm.
would be the character would be in good hands, and since she's a friend, I would love for her to be writing it.
So that is
Is
exceptionally.
that your answer too?
No, I would go with Saladin or something. Like if it is who I would like to see ride
Yeah.
Wolverine, um, I would like Saladin or Brian. Brian could be great, or Erica Schultz. Erica is doing some very fun stuff at Marvel now, and I think is one of those. I think she could handle Wolverine with sort of plumb. I would like that would be something.
Okay.
Hmm.
Interesting choice though.
But like when all of those guys are done, then I would like to take a crack at
When
it.
those guys are done, okay.
Yeah.
So that is the answer. This chat is 2 PG-13 for James Abel, your buddy James Abel. Let's
Oh,
have some fun. Tarun, do you know what MFK is? You've played this game, haven't you?
murder, fuck, kill. Is that
Mary.
for
Mary,
Mary?
Mary, yeah.
Murder. Okay,
I
so
mean, if you
not
want to
just.
murder two people, go for it.
I
It's not a bad
mean,
idea, honestly.
well, the thing is that it seems obvious, right? Like it seems like you would go like you would obviously marry Jane Foster because it would
Oh,
be
that's a safe bet.
your life is going to be like you're always going to
Valkyrie?
feel like you're a little like she's the better person, you know?
Oh, yes. I mean, if you
That's a
you want to go
problem.
the opposite way, you can marry Cletus
And
Cassidy.
always be like I'm gonna be the one. I'm gonna rescue him. I'm gonna fix him. That's
Yeah.
gonna be, or we can just do like our '90s road trip killer movie. Me and Cletus. That would be
You and
something.
Cletus. This is
Yeah.
okay. This is really interesting. This says a lot about you.
No,
So
I'm just saying that would be
okay,
something.
opposite Toru. So Mary to play it safe, Jane Foster.
Jane
I agree.
Foster.
And then who would you fuck?
The thing is, like
I can't believe I
Sonja is
just
gonna be
asked that.
Sonja's gonna
Thanks.
be good in bed. Let's just face it. She is great
You
in
have to
bed.
beat her. Remember, you got to beat her in battle first. That's why you
Well,
take
I
your wife,
mean, that's a
Jane Foster, with you.
technicality. We're gonna fix it. The
Okay.
thing is, we're doing something like I was writing a scene with Cletus the other day, and we're doing all the Carnage tendrils that sort of stick out and do things. I don't know. It could be something. If we're gonna, there's if Carnage is involved in the fucking, I think Cletus could be quite fun.
I can't believe we keep going back to that psychopath. Hold
I'm
on a
just
second.
saying.
I did
But I
warn
mean,
people at the beginning. I don't know where this is gonna go. So if you're easily offended by strong language,
this is all
sexual
James. Like this is not
conversation.
us. We're just answering the question.
This is
I'm
just
just
two people that enjoy talking to you all and answering questions that you all brought up, not
yeah, yeah,
us. I
yeah.
didn't think of this.
Is
It is
I would.
opening up a side
I
of
mean,
Torun I did about
the
Carnage.
tentacles. I'm just saying it's like I don't think there's like if whenever because men seem to be a little simpler when it comes like they're like titties great titties good. Um, well,
We are
women,
simple creatures. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, like women are a little more like, well, I mean, there can be a lot of hands involved. Like if there could be, that's always fun. I
A
don't
lot
know,
of hands.
but I would say that like if like, I couldn't kill Sonia, and I am married to Jane, so we would have to in the end kill Cletus. I'm just saying he can join in first with me and Sonia for I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Actually, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I would choose the exact same lineup.
that's
Cletus has got to go. I don't
yeah,
need
yeah.
that in my life. That's
But
way too
in
much
the end,
drama.
no, yeah, and the thing is, like, he's a lot of work, but I do love him, and
What's
he
up, animal?
speaks the
How are you,
truth.
buddy?
Ah,
Um,
our boy, like he just texted me. I was gonna say, or Instagram me, or whatever the fuck you say these days.
I don't know. I can't keep up with things like Instagram and Reddit. What's the other one now? Blue something?
Blue sky or
Blue
something. I
sky?
don't
Yeah.
know. It's so depressing. I can't. I might be back come summer, but like not now. It's too dark outside. It's too.
It's too dark. Omar, how does it feel that Melanie can leave you for any second for a 24-year-old Israeli cutie?
I don't know. Could she?
It's her
What's
choice.
going on?
I don't know. What does
Is there?
Elon know that I don't know? You
I
talking
was
about
gonna
my
say,
buddy Bar? Where is Bar? She would be enjoying this interview.
but who is this
I think,
person?
but Bar is one of our viewers that really likes my wife, and I am
I
not
do
her
too. I'm
keeper. I'm
just
just her
saying.
husband.
Good.
But
That's
she
a good
knows who butters
answer.
her bread. She knows who butters her bread. Gail
She
Simone
knows
wrote
who gets all
Savage
the
Wolverine
comics.
book. Okay,
Oh yeah.
okay,
Oh
but that's
god.
not really an ongoing series. I forgot that she did get. I honestly forgot about Savage Wolverine. That series was not so great. Good
I'm
artwork
trying
though.
to trying to remember if I've ever read that one. I like Gale and everything though. It's one of
Oh
those.
my gosh,
Yeah.
and she's doing Uncanny. Like,
Yeah. I'm
oh
just
my
I'm
gosh.
just reading the Hitler bad guy, Stalin bad guy, Black Mussolini. Yeah, Mussolini. I
Oh,
mean,
you're reading John's comment? Okay.
now I'm reading Torunn, Queen of Edging, which is true. I would say the thing is Mussolini. He turned into such an emo bastard at the end there. Like if you read like for the last 2 years of the war or something, he's just the most miserable, sad bastard. Like if he had access to musicians, he would be the new My Chemical, whatever the fuck. I have a, I wouldn't say a weak spot for Mussolini because he was horrible. I'm just saying he left the fucking war with like poetic sadness. I don't know,
Oh,
but they're all
so,
bad. Just to be
okay.
clear.
I gotta go back. I'm glad that you clarified that, by the way,
Yeah. I try.
but not your
See, that
explanation.
I'm just saying that's what I would like the YouTubers to do. Just from time to time, be like, well, I know we talked about a lot about how brilliant they were, but just the Germans were bad. Like, just so we're clear.
Would be an amazing to
Walter!
see a Red Sonja cover by you.
The thing is, I'm trying to. I was gonna surprise because Walter sent me like I have a page like it's so beautiful, like a Red Sonja piece on the wall here. So I tried to paint a Red Sonja to Walter that I was gonna send him, but I keep
Mhm.
fucking it up, and it's just every time I'm like,
Are
oh,
you a
this is this.
perfectionist when it comes to your paintings?
Not usually. I'm just saying, like, I'm staring at the piece that I'm sort of happy with her, and then I look up and then I see what he did, and like I can't send him this fucking nonsense. He's so good. And I've been struggling away for like 40 hours on this piece of shit, and he like every time I sent him like I sent him just one page yesterday because I don't want to hold him back. Like if he wants to work during the weekend, and it was just like, hey, there's this splash page, and then he wakes up and 4 minutes later he's like, here's this layout. Does this layout work? I'm like, yeah, fuck you though. Like it does. It's great. That's the problem.
Yeah, I never know
Oh
when
yeah,
these
I don't
conversations
know.
are gonna go with you. But I love it. I love it. Damn it, there's one that I'm missing that Elon was asking you to say something, and I cannot find it. Damn it.
Can you repeat it, Elon?
Yeah, can you write that what you wanted her to say? Torunn, there is no S in Drit.
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 That's
What is?
Drit.
Yeah.
It's shit.
God damn it. Of course it is.
I'm trying to like this is how null is knull in Norwegian, and it means like
That's how you pronounce it. Can you actually pronounce the K? It's
knull.
not silent.
No, like in Norway, knull is like it's like a sloppy fuck. Like it's the fuck you have behind a dumpster. Like it's a knull, right? You're not making love. You're
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, and I'm trying desperately to see if I can sort of get like a T-shirt in there with like knull meg or something like knull me. Like it's something. I'm just trying to figure out if they'll fire
But
me or not.
spelled like null.
Yeah,
Nullman. Okay.
yeah. Just
I
to
like
see
that.
if they, because we're doing like we have and Pere just kill it, like we're doing a like a metal concert thing. Like there's a fight in a metal concert, and I went to like Pun Heaven. Like there's Frost Malone, there's Berserker, like there's so many nonsense bands and stuff, and he made all the little like he made metal logos for all my made up bands, and I love him. And I knew he would
Awesome.
fucking kill a T-shirt with something very naughty in Norwegian on, but I'm just trying to figure out if they'll fire me for it, because they do have people checking all that nonsense.
Of course they do. In all these contracts you have to sign sometimes, will probably keep you from. So you have to like distance yourself from it. You have to have somebody else come up with it, and you were like, I just own
Yeah.
the shirt. I don't know what that means.
It's just the thing is like they didn't check null in the first place apparently, which is when you look at the like I think I've talked about this before, when you see the announcement for null is coming, which is how they phrased it, and it's
Yeah.
like a white drippy font, and it
Oh,
couldn't
that's
be
right. When
couldn't be worse.
it came out.
And it was just like it was on the fucking front page of the entertainment section of our biggest newspaper, being like, "Look what Marvel is doing!" And it would be so fun to just get something in there. So we're getting symbiont. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they let us get away with.
What the script.
We
What they
seem
let it.
to. I had Cletus, and I just put it in there as a sort of joke. I have him say something like, "Get a life worth taking, have an orgasm or 10 or something." Um, and then I was like, "There's no way they're gonna," because they never let me get away with anything. So
Mhm.
there's and they printed it. So I'm just, I don't know,
What issue was that?
no, it's I think it's the the next one. I don't know, the one, the number 6,
Well,
the word orgasms.
I'm proud of you.
I
Maybe you're
thank you,
just
thank you.
so good that the editor's like, "I'm
They're just,
tired. I'm
the thing
tired. I
is,
don't need to read this. I know it's good."
Ellie Pyle is the editor, and she is sort of ex Vertigo, and she's just this brilliant woman. She's, I think, one of the smartest editors I've ever worked with, and I don't know what kind of voodoo magic she's doing to get Marvel to sort of let us get away with things. But we had like some pushback at the beginning on a couple of things, and then now they're just sort of like, go ahead. But
That's awesome. Go ahead. You're going places, Torun.
uh, I realized, like if all else fails, tentacle porn is apparently the thing you
Oh,
should do.
I mean, the kids do love manga these days. What did you think of the '80s Red Sonja movie? Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, the thing
Okay.
is, I used to love it when I had a sort of ritual whenever I got hungover in my teens. I had a few different, like I had Hawk the Slayer, Red Sonja, and a couple of other like really sort of bad fantasy, like Highlander. I love Highlander, like, and I would watch those
The movies?
hungover. Yeah, and I had the
You got good taste.
VHSs.
Okay.
Well, do I though? Because that's the thing,
I
and
actually like Red Sonja, and I actually like, yes, I know it retconned the crap out of previous ones, but I like the sequels to the Highlander movies.
well, I mean,
TV show was okay. TV show was okay. I had what Duncan MacLeod. That dude's a super good looking dude.
I don't think I finished it. I just
I don't.
watched like
I never finished it either.
but yeah, but I did really like, I used to really love that movie, but I tried watching it a couple of years ago, and I got a little impatient. That tends to happen sometimes when I remember something as fucking
Oh, and you want
amazing,
to get to the
and
point.
you sort of realize like, oh, I'm missing the 2 bottles of Jack Daniels I had last night, and the burger from the horrible burger place I used to. Like I needed a full hangover experience, and I was sober. That was the problem, I think. But I don't know.
And I think Torun would be very good at writing for Wildstorm, Team 7, and Sell It.
See, this is a problem. My ego, like walking away from these live streams, it's always like people tell me shit like that, but I'm going like, maybe I would be. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I did talk about, like, with Brian a lot about the sexy stuff in Saga, and I do sincerely believe so. But I realize that there's like a shift, and we talked about this before because I was talking about my comics porn collection, and it seems to be a thing now that like people are a little more like the kids these days that are sort of like they don't want it right there. Like, I don't know. Like,
Wait,
it
wait,
seems
kids these days, repeat that. Kids these days don't want what?
the sexy stuff, like they would like it to be a
Oh, this.
little
I'm sorry, the sexist stuff.
yeah,
Okay,
the
okay,
sexy
gotcha.
stuff. Like, and as far as I understand, there are like, if you Google, you can get like Saga sex free PDFs. Like, someone has gone through Saga and just chopped away all the sexy stuff.
They edited somebody's work just to take off. Well, I guess people on YouTube have cut down the Star Wars Episode 1 without Jar Jar. Like, so anything is possible. Okay.
I
Interesting.
don't know.
And I forget. You're right. You're absolutely right. Like, I was watching my co-host on our movies show that we have every Wednesday. We're going through some of my favorite movies, and I was rewatching some, like, to prep for, like, this coming up week is going to be comedies. None of these could be made nowadays. We had either a different sense of humor, or maybe we just had a sense of humor, and that's what it took. And nowadays, it seems like, I mean, there is still comedy, right? But it's just so different and so safe. And it has
And,
to be like that in comic books too, when writing things, I assume, right?
well, I mean, I am working on one book now, and I'm not going to mention it's not for Marvel or DC, which I just did my first DC story. Did you? I don't know.
What was
Um,
it?
did a Lois Lane thing for Batman Brave and the
Oh,
Bold. Or whatever.
I think you were telling me about that the last time you were on,
Yeah.
because we were talking about Chip Zdarsky and stuff, and you were like, "Oh,
Yeah,
well done."
Chip is amazing and annoyingly, like, always delightful.
I love
It
that guy.
is. It is. It's a thing. I don't know. What were I talking about? I was talking about something before we got to.
Oh, was I supposed to be listening? I think we were
No,
talking about
well,
Highlander.
so just go back to talk about
We were
Highlander.
talking
I
about
think.
comics and how I got
Oh
this.
yeah,
I'm a
I'm working on
professional,
a
even
book.
though I'm still a little
That's
young.
what I'm saying. I'm working on a book now, not for Marvel or DC, for
Not for
someone
Marvel
else.
DC that you haven't announced yet.
I haven't
That you're
announced yet,
writing.
and
Okay.
I'm working with some existing IP and a company
Okay.
that is so fucking terrified of doing anything that I realized that it's not. I'm not sure it's going to be a good book, and it's a sort of interesting thing to see. Like,
Oh.
it's sort of they. It's I'm not sure if I can salvage it because it's just, and they keep sort of, I am delivering scripts and then they chop off a bunch of bits and then they go, oh, now it's approved, so I don't get to sort of fix the fixes either, and every time I try they end up fixing the fixes of the fixes, like, because it's just, I don't know. So there's just something. Yes, Saltburn, that's a good one.
I did
I
watch
mean,
that. That one was funny.
but there is a sort of, I feel like we need to like, I like, do you know, have you seen Masters of the Air, the new.
I'm watching it with my dad because we love the Band of Brothers, and Pacific was okay. This one I haven't started it yet because it feels like Spielberg's son is in this. And maybe it's like, hey, it's Spielberg's son, and that other guy that he was in the new Dune movie, and Elvis. What is his name?
Yeah, that's part of the problem, is that's the only way you can sort of
I can't remember.
distinguish
I'm
the
sure
different
he's
characters.
great. He's a great actor. I haven't
Oh
seen. I
yeah,
didn't see
all the
Master Shark.
character guys. But one of the things that they have sort of done, because one of the things that I absolutely love about sort of war stories in general, there's a sort of like absurdity to it, because when people are in some sort of conflict, they will just do whatever they will do things because it delights them somehow, and sometimes that's fucking horrible and other times it's really really funny. And if you read like Derek Robinson, which who writes my favorite, or did write, he's an old man now,
Mhm.
like A Piece of Cake, which is probably my favorite book of all time. There's a sort of
Austin Butler. Thank you, James.
light-hearted. What happened?
Austin Butler's the actor. Thank you, James. Do go on, Torunn.
The thing is, James is just on it every time.
Oh,
Like, I
he's
would
your
like
guy.
James
If you ever
just
need research done and you don't have time, James is your guy.
just like him to come with me in conversation in general and be like, oh, so yeah, anyway.
He will fly. He's willing to fly. Just saying, Torunn.
I'll come to just in every conversation, just the James behind me telling me what the fuck that actor with the face, you know,
That's
the
a good
actors with
job.
the
That's
face
a
and
good
the
job for him.
Jesus, poor fucker. But yeah, Masters of the Air, the fucking thing. The problem
Yes, yes.
is they've sort of again just shaved off everything that makes those stories interesting, right? And I find it like it reads like I've read every memoir, every pilot from all of the Second World War has ever written, and they're always sort of like full of the most absurd, very funny, and sometimes very tragic, but very sort of real things. And this feels like someone wrote something based off of sort of the war movies they watched when they grew up, and then they took
Oh,
away
don't
all the
say
bad jokes.
that. Oh.
And I feel like I've been so excited to see this thing, and I
I
know
am
that.
too, because it's the third one out of this thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, Band of Brothers was so good, like it was
Oh,
so fucking good.
it's one of my favorite series. Oh
It's-
my god, that ending makes me cry. Like when you
mm,
have Corporal Winters, the real one, there at the end. Oh my god, it's so
it's-
beautiful.
but I just wonder if that's sort of the thing that they had, like,
The
a bunch of people
people
that they to talk
that
to,
was
and
there.
they wanted to sort of honor the moments of things that happened that were sort of not like, because in the Masters of the Air they have the tragedy, they just don't have the character that sort of goes with it. And I
Mhm.
sometimes wonder if they remove the sort of crazy, because there's in every war movie there's one like crazy guy, right? And if
Gonorrhea.
you
I love
yeah,
that guy. I
yeah,
love that guy.
the thing is, like, usually you can, if you did some like TikTok analysis of it, you would go, oh, but he's autistic or he's got this kind of mental problem or
Oh,
something.
oh my God, you
And I'm
are
just
absolutely right. Yeah, and
and I'm
then
wondering if that's why they've sort of stopped doing that character. The
playing it
thing is,
safe.
yeah, because they don't want to be like, oh, this is a horribly insensitive.
I've seen
But I don't know.
we we reviewed the new Ninja Turtles movie. I don't know if you've seen it with your
I
kids or
haven't.
not.
Is it good?
I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Good.
But there is a character there, Master Splinter, that is who is it? I can't remember. There's another character that was aged up.
James.
James, who's the character that was?
Who's the character?
Look at you, James. Uh,
James.
who's the character that they aged up in the new Ninja Turtles movie? That at the very end, it seems like Master Splinter and this character were together, and there were people. I think it was on TikTok that were pretty much breaking down like this is pedophilia. They
Um,
aged this creature up. I think it was a fly, maybe? I can't remember. They aged this creature up, and now Master Splinter's dating this creature. Now I was like, whoa, you are like, I mean, you are purposely dissecting this small part of this giant movie just so you can have a point. And it feels like what you just said about Masters of the Air, where they did this. Like they were like, okay, we can't have a character like this. That's too problematic. We can't have a character like that. That's sexist. And like it just, I think that's probably what's happening nowadays with movies. And it kind of loses that reality to it. I watched Paper Girls on Amazon. I think I was one of the very few people that watched the show because I really liked the book. And there was an Asian girl and a couple of other girls, but they were throwing a derogatory term out there. And I grew up in the era of the 80s, and I know about derogatory terms, believe me, coming from Kentucky, being the only Latino at my school. And it's just something that stuck with you, nicknames and things like that. But when they did it in here, they decided to have a scene where they talked about why it's wrong. And while all these horrible things are happening around them, and it took me out of the show so much that I was like, why are we taking time to sit here? Yes, I'm smart enough as a watcher to realize that that is not something we use nowadays, and it's not part of your vocabulary. I get it. Why do we need to have a 5-minute scene where they're discussing the wrong how wrong it is to use that derogatory term in an 80s show when it never would have happened in the 80s? Nobody in the 80s would have been like, look, you hurt my feelings, and this is why. Like that's just it's so different now. So maybe a lot of these studios are just playing it safe, like you said.
Well, I mean, it to me it feels like that, and I don't know. I feel like, and I'm saying this. I do talk a lot to teenagers just because I have one in my house, and they do have a very different way of looking at everything. But then again, it seems to me like the language, the rhetoric they use within their groups
Mhm.
is equally horrible. Like they will say horrible things to each other, but they sort of know that it's wrong. And if I say something, and I usually I don't have like I've been trying to figure out how to deal with like Cletus, who is a
That's
serial
gotta be a
killer.
really, really hard character to write. What's up,
Well,
Omnibo? How you doing, buddy? It
Omnibo,
was Scumbug. It was Scumbug. Thank you. Thank you, James. James is on it. James, my dude.
fucking
And
love it.
Max. Thank you guys.
Max, are you the one who told me that you don't need S to spell pegging? Yeah, it's
Yes,
good.
that was
It's
Max. Of course, it was Max.
good
He's
job,
good.
Max.
He's good people. He's good people. I like Max. I'm trying to find this super sticker. Elon, did you have a question, buddy? Okay, go ahead, Torunn.
There is a sort of with Cletus when he's telling people that they're stupid, like because I'm trying not to be ableist, and I have a little like I'm not sure I necessarily understand who feels like idiot is a bad thing. I'm not sure, like half wit, which I'm partial to. I think that's a good one. You shouldn't use half wit, but I would say like Cletus is a serial killer. He's a horrible character. Like, couldn't I have him say some really horrible things? And it sort of takes you out of it a little bit, and it dumbs down the language if you can't use these words that sort of historically has meant something. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. As someone who would never ever like talk to someone, think that they're stupid, and then go, "Oh, you fucking half-wit." Like, I wouldn't. But I would
Right. But you're
possibly.
not writing a story about Torunn Grønbekk. You're writing a story about a serial killer. And
Yes.
nothing takes me more. Oh my God, I am sobering up. Nothing takes me more out of a
Get a shot.
story than when somebody takes the time out of that story to not use. Like, if you're talking about a serial killer, if you're talking about Nazis, I remember having not an argument, because I don't like to get in. I'm too old for arguments. Somebody had a discussion with me on one of the videos I did, because we were talking about, oh my gosh, what was it? I cannot remember. It was, regardless, the character was a Nazi, and the person that had a discussion with me thought it was wrong of that character not to use the proper pronouns for this one character. And I understand this is a really, really thin line, but I had to remind him, I'm like, this is somebody that's okay with killing children in the story. I don't think pronouns are their priority. And they didn't understand where I was coming from. And I was like, I really feel like there is a disconnect here with stories that, and oh my gosh, it has to be hard to be a writer, because for me, if I'm in the middle of a story and something like that happens, like if this Nazi started using proper pronouns right before he kills the character, would have been like, I don't think that would have happened.
No,
But there might be people that do need that, though.
But the thing is, like, you're just removing what, and I just want to reiterate, like, we're talking about villains here, right?
Right.
And trying to make it feel authentic and not bloodless, not noted to death.
Mhm.
And I think you can tell when the studios have been there and sort of done like given too many notes, and you feel like you just feel it's been sort of shaved down. And especially when you're dealing with villains, there is something to, like, you want people to have a visceral reaction to someone. And I'm not saying just throw out a bunch of horrible words, but just make sure it feels authentic, because you're trying to
Mhm.
create people that you met that are highly problematic, and like, like, oh, I know that guy because he uses this kind of language. But I mean, it is difficult, and I find I understand. I try to avoid it as much as possible, but like Cletus will tell you you're an idiot from time to time, so we sort of need to I need to think about this stuff. But I do find it, like, did you see is it what, the Secret Invasion, Secret War, the Marvel TV show, or was it again?
Oh, Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. Yeah,
I saw it.
I saw the intro where, like, the first narration that goes something like you can't believe anything anymore, because, like, what is truth?
Oh,
And
yeah.
then there's a sentence that says something like, news says one thing, website says another. And it's just like, website? And you can tell that, like, the original script, it said Twitter or something, right?
Mhm.
And then they had a discussion somewhere being like, no, you can't use Twitter, and it's X now, and like, whatever the fuck. And then they just went, oh, we can just use website. That makes sense. News says one thing, website says another. And it's the first thing you hear on that fucking show. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Well, you saved yourself some time. It wasn't that great.
Oh,
It was pretty
because I
awful.
sincerely couldn't get through.
And there is a lot of truth to what Kingsport Cal was saying. His mother never understood him either. So maybe it's a generational thing. Not that I'm like, like my kids and their friends, I try to have conversations with them, in a joking manner about things, and then realizing that I can't joke a lot, like, because they're kids. And on top of that, they're also a different generation. Not that they get easily offended. I've heard their conversations from time to time. They're teenagers, and I was there too. Okay, this was the super sticker. Torunn, I would like James to come with me. Boy, you just made James' day. He um, that
Jesus
was
Christ.
that was the thing that made people finally start realizing how terrible Tony Soprano was. Chase would double down on how horrible a character he is. Couldn't do that now. Now, and we've had shows since then like that, right? Like we've had Breaking Bad. We've had shows where you are rooting for the bad guy, and then you're like, oh, that is not a good human being.
No.
And I like that though, because you get to see the side of both stories.
No, I just feel like this is an era that we're going through, and I think we're gonna go because the thing is, most people are sensible, and most people who get hung up on things like these they're usually right anyway, right? Like, so it's just that thing of you must be able to go, no, I stand by this creative decision to have this be a horrible person. And one of the things, like, if I'm going to bash Masters of the Air even more, like, one of the things that annoy me is
Can you come back to the show and review Masters of the Air with me,
yeah,
please?
I
I'm
will.
serious.
I will
I
fucking
will
and
do
then
that.
I'll just have to watch the final episode because I couldn't get
I haven't
past
started
like
yet.
the middle of episode 4 or something. And the thing is, and I will, as long as there's a Merlin somewhere going off, I will watch whatever the fuck it is. So it's impressive that I haven't finished it. Anyway, the thing is, by sort of shaving off everything, they managed to make some of the most boring female characters ever. Like, there's just nothing there.
In
There's no
Masters
yeah,
of the Air?
yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you one single female character in there, and it begins like the first scene is in a bar, and it's like any like half bad war movie you've ever seen, where the women are sort of
You're making this
ornamental.
I don't even want to watch it now, and I have to review it.
Sorry.
And no, it's okay. It's okay.
But it's just it's sort of by trying to make people sort of sanitize this sort of fucking it up, right? So we need something. We just need to make sure, like, you want to know that the people you're rooting for are sort of on the side of the angels in the end. And it's I don't know, not that we're going to talk about the world today, but it's an interesting time to try to figure out who you like. If this is you can kind of tell that we reached a point where liking people specifically based on their political beliefs are sort of, it's going to falter a little bit in the world 2024. But let's move on.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
Tony,
I mean, we can do an election special at some point if you want. That would be something.
Okay, we can do that, dude. I want you to come back and review Masters of the Air with me now.
I will.
Amanda.
I fucking will if you want. Be it a horrible. The thing is, the only thing I can say.
I get into look, man. Every time I read, this is why I don't review omnis on my channel. People are like, "Why don't you review an omnibus, man?" I'm like, because I feel like I'm just doing an overview of a book. I'm telling you what the story is contained. The minute I start putting my thoughts in and my feelings into this, people will argue with you. It doesn't matter what side they're on. They're like, "Oh man, your opinions are stupid." It doesn't matter, right? We did a show on what was it, She-Hulk, which I got into a whole, like, I tell you, I don't get into arguments. I got into this whole debate with this guy that was like, "I can't believe you liked the first episode." I'm like, I did. And if it wasn't for you, don't watch it. And then I got into another debate with another guy that was like, "I can't believe you didn't like the series at all." I didn't, but I liked the first episode. Where were you to defend me when that dude was arguing with me?
The thing is, like, this is one of the things I don't want to. And this is the only place I apparently have opinions, but that's because I forget that there's a world going out, and, like, you know, like, there's some
I like to
nice
consider
comments.
this is a safe space.
This is a safe space. It's going to be on YouTube for a while. But I don't generally, I don't go on Twitter and tell people if I don't like anything, but just because I don't care if you disagree. That's your thing. Just, yep. I don't know.
There's a lot of truth to what Manimal is saying. We're starving for villains because we're given way too many. I mean, think about, and thank you, because that is such a great statement. Think about how many villains now have their own comic book. And I'm not talking about Carnage, right? You're talking about Joker and Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. And most of them are now borderline anti-heroes, which makes the Carnage story so interesting because he's not really an anti-hero. At the end of the day, he's still a freaking villain. It's not like he's going through a redemption arc. Or I don't know. Do you have that plan for like the 25th issue? Torunn?
Oh yeah, that's what we're going. No, this sincerely we are. I'm doing the last issue before thing, now, and let me tell you that it begins with Carnage, it ends with Carnage. It's just fucking Carnage. It's the name of the book. That's what it is. It's great.
Okay. I can't wait to see what you're cooking. Torunn and Omar, who would win in a fight? Highlander Duncan MacLeod from the TV show or Carnage?
The thing is, Cletus would flirt. Cletus would like flirt and say uncomfortable things. Duncan would be highly uncomfortable. It would be very odd, and then Carnage would win. I'm sorry, it's just how it is.
I went to a signing. I cannot remember the actor's name of Duncan MacLeod, and I went with my friend Dan, who his mom loves Highlander, so we were waiting to get something signed. When we got to meet him, we both looked at each other and were like, wow, he's a very good looking man. Like, I've never said that, but we were both thinking it at the same time. Like, I got a little lost in his eyes. That is one good looking man. And Carnage would win. I just needed a place to share that story.
But there would be a fight if that happens. I'm just saying, just like Carnage, it would freak him out. There's no
and to the point of villains nowadays. Let's go even crazier, because what Always an Instigator reminds me of something. Peaky Blinders, Tommy Shelby's a monster, but he's got Riz, right? And it feels like not even fictional characters, but when you have a show like Dahmer, where kids are doing TikTok Dahmer dances, it's like you're stripping away the monster and what he did and making this villain. So it's like we live in a world that maybe we don't want villains, or we need answers for why they are the way they are. And maybe that's why we don't have a true villain. People that are just crazy. Remember when we were young, we just had people that were just crazy?
Bad, horrible thing. I don't know. I do enjoy it when you have like, I like, yes, James. Yes. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. This is gonna make no sense unless
I haven't seen Shogun yet, but I need to.
It's so good.
Okay.
Do another. Yeah. Okay. No, but I do think like it's always interesting when you can get sort of, like when you can see the how the villain sort of makes sense. Like it's always nice. But then again, like if you look at the actual villains of history, we're going back to our Hitlers and our Stalins, who were just awful, like pathetic people in many ways. There's I was reading up on again troop movements on the Eastern Front, and there was this troop that requested to retreat because they would obviously die, and Hitler sort of went like, of course, like you fight to the last man, of course you do, because like that looks better, like it's better for us, like it looks better. And it is sort of like it's an interesting, like Hitler is one of the least interesting people in the world. Like I find it fascinating how we keep being like Hitler's dog, 12-episode documentary. It's like, no, just a very pathetic man. That's it. And we bought into it. That was a problem. But it is sort of it's always interesting when you have something to them. I think like the Thanos MCU version worked so well because people are like, well, we do have a population problem, right? Like, not that we actually, like, we have a population problem in as much as like we're not going to have any population. They're like, people stopped fucking. That's a problem. Or they stopped making babies, I suppose. But it's just it seemed like it made sense, so we were sort of with Thanos, right? But there is something to just knowing that like this is the bad, and it would be great if we can just let them die or let them suffer horribly and then come back and be even worse. Thank you, Elon. I do hope you enjoyed those things, Carnage and Red Sonja.
My buddy Project Viking wants to know how you feel. Have you read Final Crisis? Have you read like Crisis comics?
Sure.
DC?
Yeah.
What did you think of Final Crisis?
Oh, is this is this going to be one of the things where your entire chat
Well,
freaks
he's
out?
been he's been checking off all the things that you like, and he's like, check. Oh my gosh, yes, yes. But this is it. This is either
Okay,
gonna make
so
or break off the list.
but is this going to be one of those things like I'm not going to be invited back if I say truthfully like I love Final Crisis? I've found it.
I don't give a crap what anybody else
I'm
thinks.
just checking.
Not
I
you.
don't
I
know.
mean the chat. I care what you think.
No,
Yeah, what do you think about Final Crisis?
I liked it a lot. I don't know. Did you?
Is that okay? Are you being honest with
I
me?
just yeah. I'm trying to figure out that this is one of those things that will. The thing is, like, I enjoy it when you get a sense that there is a point of view and someone has really done some work. I don't know. There is like I was rereading a bunch of quite horrible Venom comics from earlier, like past decades, and
You
you
can say the 90s. That's okay.
the thing is they had a sort of there was something there that I said I found myself sort of being like I enjoy this a lot more than I enjoy sort of the half-ass something. I don't know. There's something I'm and the thing is like when I like things I never know what I'm going to enjoy and what I'm not going to enjoy. I can't seem to find the thing. I know whose recommendations to take. Like I have two people who I trust sort of implicitly. If they say I like it, I like it. But I can't be like, oh, this is what I like, and you give me a recommendation because I don't know. So there's always something like this. So yeah, this is my stance on Final Crisis.
There you go, Alex. I hope that satisfies.
Sorry, Alex, if that was the wrong answer, and now I don't know.
Okay. Torunn, what are your thoughts on French comics? They would depict a Pakistani woman in a headscarf in a very derogatory, stereotypical way. Is there any room for that?
I don't have any room for anyone depicting. I think like I don't know. If I haven't seen whatever comic he like I like French comics in general, but at least the ones that we get over here that is
We don't get a
translated
lot in
in
America.
no,
but-
that's the thing. Like I only get the ones that are translated into something, which is like
Mhm.
Danish, Norwegian, Swedish, or English. Like those are the languages that I can read with any confidence. But I do find I realize, like especially in France, there seems to be a very specific kind of racism that I don't understand, and I don't fuck with. I like it's just it seems I don't know. And if whatever he's referring to
Mhm.
is part of that nonsense, then I don't think there's room for it. But I don't know.
Beautifully put. No room for it.
Yes,
like
I
that.
have read.
Oh, have you
Walter
read Walter Simon's Ragnarok? What do you think of Walt's Ragnarok?
The thing is, it's just fucking beautiful craziness. I love
Yeah.
it. Like what and
One of my
again
favorite
like
albums.
with the point of view thing like that's a like you would never mistake a Walter Simonson comic for anyone else ever, right? Like it's just I don't know, it's great. I just want something that keeps my attention these days. That's what I want. And it happens like it tends to, especially when I'm reading through a bunch of comics, to sort of find like, oh, what was the second appearance of Anne Brock? Like where did we see her last? And I started going through a bunch of comics. And what I love is that moment where I find myself sort of forgetting what I was looking for and just reading the comics instead. It's good.
So you've you mentioned a lot of things in this and I'm looking at the chat, and I do want to come back to the chat, but now I've got something.
Am I
I've
grateful?
got
I don't
something.
see the chat. Like I don't see. I only
Are you
see
on
what
YouTube?
you.
Yeah, the chat is on the right-hand side for me, but if you look on YouTube, you can see the comments. But I'd hate for you to go back and forth between this and whatever you feel comfortable with. Sometimes when there's a glitch with StreamYard, I put my phone up so I can see the comments like next to me on my screen as they come up. Now I have a question for me. So, are you going to be writing something new for Marvel?
Well, yeah, yes.
Okay.
I have.
I know
some
you don't have to go into details. I just
I
want
have
you.
some unannounced things at Marvel, But I will
Mhm,
say that the big huge thing that I'm doing right now
mhm.
is not at Marvel.
Okay. The big, huge thing that you're not doing right now is not at Marvel. Oh, okay. This is exciting.
It is fantastic. And just the thing is, like work is a sort of joy in my life, right? And as I've mentioned several times now, because I'm a crybaby, apparently, I didn't know that I was. It just turns out the first time I talked to anyone in 3 months, and I turned into a miserable cunt. But it's been hard. It's been
As
hard.
long as your principal at your daughter's school does not know that about you, you're fine.
Never. She will never know. Every time I meet her, I will put on a face and I will have an understanding for everything and everyone. I will channel my inner Jane Foster, and then we'll see. I wish I'd done this. And I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those conversations where I go to bed and be like, why did I say that? I don't know.
You always leave my show like that.
Tentacle
And
porn?
then you email me the first time going, "Oh my gosh, was that pegging too much?" And I
Is
was
that?
like, "No."
Should I
I
not?
actually
Did
added
I
that to the
mention
title.
edging? Oh no.
Torunn, you will always be invited back. And
I
yes,
think,
if
thank you.
Pal is right. You are always welcome back. Um, yes, yeah, and this is also true. We're here for you. We get Omar every day. Like, ask me questions. You're laughing a little hard at that, Torunn.
No. The thing is, like, sometimes you will be the one just going on in the background while I'm working, and it's just the nicest thing ever. You're sort of
Wait, what do you mean? You put my video on?
well, yeah. Well, as I said, I like to have
I don't
someone
talk about
on.
war comics. I should.
No, I mean you could, but sometimes I just like to hear people talk about things I care about, especially if I've had, as I've said, I like the most absurd, nonsensical, like when you have to deal with things that are sort of not in your like this is not what you do every day, yet here you are doing it. I'll tell you something when you go off air, and you'll understand. The thing is, like, I just sometimes I just like to it's just I'd like to have some nice people on in the background, while I'm working. So
Oh,
sometimes I'll
that is
tune
so
you out in the end, but it's lovely.
that is so sweet. That's so sweet. That melts my heart. Thank you. I hate the trend of showing how and why the bad guy became the bad guy. Just let someone be villainous. We don't need a backstory telling us that they had rough upbringing or whatever. I think there is definitely a place for one-dimensional bad guys that are ruthless, and you don't need an explanation because sometimes you know what? People are just born evil, and it happens in real life, and it should happen in media too. And I'm with that. I'm okay with that. I don't mind a complex character from time to time. I'm okay following a complex, especially if it's one that's carrying a movie like Thanos, right? Or I guess what would have been Kang eventually. I don't know. God knows where that is. But that's okay because it's going to be like multiple movies that you're going to be seeing this character.
Well, I think it's one of those like you like to uh like every bad guy thinks he's doing the right thing, right? Like that's sort of so if you can somehow explain why he thinks this is the right thing, or even better, if you can sort of get people along with it, I think that's good. But then again, sometimes it gets a little dull where it's like, oh, he got his father kicked his ass. Well, again, there's a bunch of people who is not doing all of these horrible things because
Yes.
I don't know, it is a little something. So you have to make, if you're going to do a backstory or like a flashback, you better make it fucking good. And that's when we get into problems again, because we can't really show the real true human misery anymore, which is sort of right there out there. So I'm not sure why we're sort of steering away from it, but it is what it is.
Love it. Love it. Love these conversations. Sometimes I mean when I have people on and I do try to have a relaxed atmosphere where people can come and share their opinions and stories, and at the end of the day, come and um sell their books, which is fine. I mean, that's what these things are for. But I feel like I have made connections with several people that are just really cool, and I talk to behind the scenes after the show's over, and we keep up through email, and it's really sweet when that happens. But yeah, that's why you are one of my favorite guests, and I don't even consider you a guest anymore. I kind of consider you a Norwegian friend. Norway?
That's good. I like that because if I've been doing a shit job of selling anything. If that's what I was supposed
Elon
to
bought
do.
a couple of books just
Yeah,
now.
that's true. Oh fuck! Thank you.
You're doing a
Thank you so
phenomenal
much.
job.
Oh God, I'm so happy someone did. I'm just saying, I'm not. I'm a horrible salesman, but that's because I fucking hate them. No, it's not, and I would be very bad at it. I would
I'd
be.
love for to see Torunn do a Hellboy book.
I would. That would be fun. That would be.
Elon, was that your super sticker? Could Torunn please write a short review on Volume 3 of Bang Ballad of the Tiger by our own Josh Greathouse? Wow.
Could it? Could someone
Love the
send me
artist.
this thing?
This guy right here has published a book. It's an independent book called
Yeah.
Ballad of the Tiger, Bang Ballad of the Tiger. My lovely wife, the astonishing Melanie, is the editor of said book. And
How could
he's
you not have sent this to me?
me or him? Me or him?
Oh,
Me or him? Both of us? But apparently, I'm not good at pushing people's jobs either. Okay. You will get a copy of it. Josh,
Yes, please.
email her a copy of it. It's
just
a
saying.
beautiful independent book that he's continuing, and it's hard to be these artists out there. Josh is a good example of what I think is wrong with YouTube and this platform as a whole when you have people like us, like me. Josh, and I'm not saying he's an example of why it's bad. I'm saying it's an example that all of us that do this should be spotlighting lesser known creators too. It's not about just getting Todd McFarlane on your show or getting all these big time. I love doing like interviews with people that are trying to get their books published through Kickstarters and things like that. They don't get that many views. So I understand why you, as somebody that does this for a living, you don't want that. But I think what the hell is the point of any of this if you can't share that love? And, because it might click for some people, and some people would be like, oh, this book was amazing. I can't believe nobody knows about it. And word of mouth goes a long way. And I really feel like there's a lot of YouTube out there and not enough of us doing the right thing by having some, small time writer or first time artist trying to get the book out there.
But what if you do because I know that the most of the comics podcast I listen to is sort of creators talking about the process of creating, and that's always interesting wherever in the sort of their career it is. But I suppose you have like more readership, sort of like your viewers are more readers than creators, I suppose. But I think it would be interesting anyway to talk like to listen to someone talk about their process. Especially when you're an indie author and trying to do something, because that's where the interesting books are, right? And part of the reason why I'm like, you should send it to me is just because when I read comics now, it's a lot of the times are people asking for blurbs or something, and those are the books that I would have gotten to eventually, probably, maybe. But it is such a privilege of the job to have them sent over, and I can read something that feels wholly original and a lot of the time much more interesting than just another something in the continuity of something, right? So please send me the book.
Oh, you were so sweet. There you go, Josh. I will send you her email address after the show.
Man, I am horribly honest and say horrible things, so you might not like it. Just
yes, Torunn knows how to nicely put things like that. She's
yeah,
here. That's what she's saying. Omar, I'm with you, buddy. It drives me nuts when people complain Moon about stuff about superhero films, TV shows, comics that have nothing to do with the actual story. Yes, they nitpick one little thing and hyper focus on it and make a whole argument about it and share it. And before you know it, you become the topic, not me, but people like Torunn become the topic of like, oh, this woman is okay with whatever craziness it could be, pedophilia or serial killers, falling in love with serial killers or whatever it is. This is kind of like, it's got to be difficult being a writer and also being on social media and seeing sometimes your work being critiqued for not the right things.
Yeah, so sometimes I will, like we had, I'm not sure if I should, like we had like one fuck up once with a call, like we had Doom's love interest had the wrong hair color or something, and it was fascinating to see how people like this is a like a be they like we had a discussion about this and decided that we would make her blonde instead of like black haired. And it's just like, oh, you are overthinking everything at this point. It's just there are two characters with the same name. One is blonde and one like it was a reference fuck up. Like that's it. That's the extent of it. It was fixed. But I had people sort of emailing me, sort of like, "Oh, this is." They like you made a conscious decision to ignore her heritage. Like, no, I didn't even see the colors before it went to print. Like they did. I don't know. It is what it is.
And it's hard to have a conversation with people like that because most of the time, and I hate saying this, but it's just fact. Most of the time, there is no conversation to be had. It's more people just wanting an argument. Nobody wants to hear opinions sometimes, and I feel like that's what a lot of social media is, which is why I have somebody do our social media for Near Mint Condition. I don't have the time or energy for sometimes the nonsense that happens there. Every once in a while, I'll poke my head in to see something going on in X-Men, and immediately I just see a bunch of people complaining and like, this is the worst era of X-Men. Nothing's going to be worse. Like, oh my God, we survived the 90s. Like, we're going to be fine. People compare it, like, complaining about Spider-Man kill me too. I'm like, we survived since passing one more day.
Well, I think I can't, like, if they get something out of it, I don't know. I can't participate. And if you would, like, my social media is opaque. Like, it's just nothing. It's just like, here's a moose, here's a picture of me from time to time, here's a tree. There's a lot of moose. Let's face it. Like, that's my brand. It's reindeer, moose, and pegging. That's where we are.
That's gonna be in your tombstone.
It's gonna be, you know what's gonna be on my tombstone. I was
tell me.
My doctor is one of the, like, she's like a character from an Arthur Miller play or something. Like, she's great except she's horrible. And she took my blood pressure. I just had COVID, and she took my blood pressure, and she just went, "You're barely human," and I was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm going. Barely human."
You're barely human? What does that mean?
I don't fucking know. Yes, I've read the Valhalla series. I would say that it is the reason I started reading comics. It was one of my favorite comics growing up, and it was one of those, like my mom, who is this Viking goddess, that was sort of like mom approved comics as well. Like, it's like she enjoyed them, so I could get access to them very early on. Love them. I have my science sort of full series down there somewhere.
Your mom was a Viking. You said your mom's a Viking goddess?
She is. I posted a photo of my mom on Instagram or something, and it was my most popular photo of that year because people want to fuck my mom. And I'm trying to be like, don't tell me. Or don't tell her, because she will fucking, like, she will enjoy having people. Like, that's I don't want to know. Like,
I remember showing pictures of my mom to my friends when she was younger in her hippie days, and they were like, "Yo," and I'm like, "You need to shut up. I don't need to. You don't need to finish that sentence."
Yeah, well, I mean, just do it away from me. Just go over there. Just, I don't want to be involved with this nonsense. But yeah, I've told you this before, right? Like, we used to do like Viking reenactments and Viking like festivals and everything. And she has like full Viking garb. I have two, but she's Viking goddess, and there's a picture of her in front of like a couple of Viking ships, just standing there, being like, "This is life. What are we doing with all this modern nonsense?" Anyway, she well, I mean, I think she likes comics in general, but that was sort of the first thing that she brought me, and like, this is mom approved. You were getting into more Norse mythology, so we can discuss her crazy sort of Odin theories, because she has a bunch of them.
I love that. Your mom's a badass Viking. Can I ask my AI question again? I want to know if y'all think it's going to be a big impact on comics in the future. AI. It's happening already, and I think there's people that are putting stops to it. I think publishers are trying to do the right thing, but you can't. Look, I'll be honest with you. In the field of comics, it's like any other field out there. People are going to be hiring AI artists. It's going to happen because you have to compete. Nobody liked in America when we shipped factories overseas, right? I remember protests happening. Buy American. This does not need to go to China. But the first factory that did, within 4 freaking months, like 85% of the I'm not joking, 85% of the factories in Eastern Kentucky were gone.
Yeah.
Because in order to compete, they had to do it. I don't think it's right. I'm not saying you should buy AI art, but I'm looking at it from like the first person to do it, others are going to follow suit, and they're going to be looking for AI artists until laws are mandated. And even then, I don't know. Like it sucks, that's for sure.
The thing is that I think it's going to be so fucking mediocre or whatever. Like even like it doesn't really matter that like even give it 4 years and the results are going to be just a lot better than we have today. The books are still going to be mediocre as fuck. That's just how it is. And they're going to be sort of like you're going to have mediocre people who doesn't know the difference between good and bad be the ones to be like, hey, this looks like something, we can publish it, and people are going to buy it. I hope that will stop it somehow. I think like AI, and this is coming from someone who like I started coding when I was 11.
Oh dude, not only are you a talented painter and writer, you're also a nerd.
Fucking nerd. Like sincerely, that is what I've been doing until now. Is just building different sort of techie stuff for different people. That's what I like when I whore myself out now. That's what I do. I do
It's
tech
techie stuff. Okay.
techie stuff. Like people are gonna be like, so do you really know? Yeah, I've been coding since I was 11. But anyway, like it's one of those. I've always been sort of pro any like it's gonna be great for say like medical diagnosis. Like that's gonna be something. Like AI is gonna be great for so many fucking things, but it's also going to end the world. Just so we're clear on that. Like it's just like it's gonna fuck us properly. It's already fucking us.
You and I have had some deep conversations about AI when we were drinking, and it is scary. And
it is terrifying.
But he was asking, and I just wanted to make sure that you got it. I can't get to every question, but I promise I'm trying. We'll kill it doing a Walking Dead spinoff. Did you like The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I love it. It's one of those like it's a classic for a reason, and the thing is, I do love the zombie trope. Like it's just I don't know, it works for me. It is. I sincerely think that like we should be so lucky to have the world end in 2 days because I think we're in the middle of sort of the end of the world. It just takes a while. It just takes like a couple of decades, but we're there.
Your definition of how long, right? It's been around for a little bit.
No, I'm just saying, like we have people dying from the end of the world right now, right? Like we have, like we have people being swallowed up by the fucking earth, and just. The world is on fire. Like we're not doing great. This is the end of the world. It just takes a long time. So we should be so fucking lucky to just have one thing that goes, hey, now it's bad, and now we need to fix everything. I find it very interesting.
So you don't want zombie apocalypse because that would take a long time.
No, I'm saying like if we can get a zombie apocalypse, that would be something. Because then again, like we wouldn't. Then everyone would agree that we're fucked, right? Like if there are zombies,
then we can all
people
get on agreement.
Probably like maybe we should deal with the zombies, but like this, not like we're melting. That's not enough. That's fine. Like we should. I don't know.
This is my buddy Kingsport Cal. You don't have to sell anything, Torunn. Your personality sells that book for you. Happy St. Patty's Day.
That is sincerely the best compliment ever.
I'm bricked over here. Over her accent, by the way. A lot of people are commenting on your accent.
It's
you hear that often?
Happens. I don't fucking know. I have no idea what comes out of my mouth at any time, including the content of whatever. Like it's just something. And I realize like I have a bunch of friends from Northern Ireland, and if I'm with them for a lot, like I'll start to get a sort of twang. And it's sort of Norwegian Irish sort of thing, and I think I sound like a fucking idiot, but I'm very happy that someone enjoys it. I don't know.
People are loving it, loving your accent. Torunn, you are so kind. And MC, this is Josh, the creator of that comic we were talking about. MC has been amazing to me. I cannot thank them enough. These are some of the best comics.
Best of comics.
Yep. Best of comics.
Cool.
Reindeer Stew and Pagan, baby. That's right. The name of the first episode. We'll do moose stuff for cash. I don't like people complaining about non-story stuff. However, the person responsible for getting rid of Rogue's ass in X-Men 97 should be dude. If I saw one more meme about Rogue's ass in X-Men 97, One more meme.
The thing is, I do enjoy. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. Spent hundreds
That
of dollars in travel and hotel for an editor to tell me.
the trip was worth it though, and remember though, that there are cunts everywhere. Like I don't know.
Yeah, look how many times people have been rejected, right? And the point is, you never give up, and who knows, maybe one day the right person will see your stuff. Torunn should bring back the villain team up at Marvel. That could be fun.
That could
That was a fun book. I'm specifically here. Oh, this is so true. To fight with Omar gives me serotonin.
But I mean, that's something like I wouldn't, if that was the thing that gave me serotonin, maybe I would be on Twitter too, having opinions. Like that's not where I get it.
People spent 2 weeks on Twitter complaining about and arguing about Storm's hair in X-Men 97 after the trailer. I think people just sometimes need that in their lives. And maybe they don't have a Walmart next to them that they can go and argue with people.
Yes, and I do remember the time where we were sort of arguing about everything, but it was just localized, right? Like when I was young, it was just, the 7 people in the room arguing, and it wasn't there forever. And if you said something horrible and inappropriate, it wasn't there in black and white forever. And it is sort of strange the moment you sort of type out a death threat to someone because they wrote something in Venom, say, like, don't do that. Like, it's just, that's not. If you think your mother is going to cringe herself to death if she sees what you wrote on Twitter, just don't. Just try not to.
Don't do that. Got it. Good advice there from Torunn Grønbekk. Look at this. If somebody had told me 40 years ago that a Norwegian writer would write for the big two, I would not have believed them then. And a woman as well.
A woman! Amazing. That is something.
What is the last part of that?
Thank you.
Oh, okay. No, thank you. Oh, wait, no, that was to you. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank me. Oh, I don't know.
You, yes.
I'm just doing whatever I like. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just stumbling through life. I would say that I write. I think I've told you why I write comics before, but I realized, like when we were talking about the techie stuff, because I had a moment a few years ago that I just sold a company that I built. Like I built a platform and we sold it to like a media company, and they started inviting me to meetings. Like my calendar would just be filled with just meetings of nothing.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
And I couldn't. It was just. It's just insanely. It's so hard to find any sort of meaning in anything when you're doing that. And I was on my way somewhere to a meeting with someone who's trying to develop an app for like couples counseling, and they wanted me to have opinions on it. And I realized, like, I don't give a shit, but okay. But fuck it, who cares? But I'll like let's gamify couples counseling. I don't know. And can we use Django? Like it was a very strange thing. And I had Preacher, like my old Preacher trades in my bag with me, and I read them on the train, and I was like, oh yeah, this is the thing. Like this is the.
That's actually really good couple counseling though, because Tulip and Jesse really had issues, and they went through hell and back and were able to work it out, and maybe a positive thing. Right?
So what you do if you have troubles with your significant other, don't get a kid, don't buy a cat, just kill a bunch of people and go on a road trip with your vampire friend.
Somebody's gonna clip that right now.
Potentially, maybe you fuck him, and then like it's gonna be even more awkward somehow. But then again, to the end of the world,
you might get shot in the head. You might come back from the dead. Yes, I love Preacher. It's one of my absolute favorites. We really need to get Torunn and Tina on the stream together to enjoy the hilarity that will surely ensue. Oh my gosh. Yes, I would love that. I'd love for Torunn just to come back. People have asked you to come back to do the Ask Me Anything, which is the after hours talk.
Like, is this not the after hours talk?
No, there's a lot more after hours talk than this. Cool. I actually am controlling myself more so. Yeah.
Okay, then let's
that one is just what you can say whatever you want to. AI artist, aka program that generates material out of stolen data. Oh my gosh, it's insane, dude. Might be when I ditch comics if they do. Johnny, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's sort of the thing, right? Like there is no like we've lost that. But the thing is, like we have sort of already lost in general there's like we have sort of like we fish a bunch of fish in Norway and then we send it to China to have it processed and then we send it back to Norway to sell it. Like it's just we lost something. We've lost the plot a long time ago. But I would say the moment we just go, no, we'll pay some fucker to sit around in Midjourney and make comics, and I don't know, just let's not. And the thing is, it's so fascinating to see like the interior design AI photos. Have you seen this nonsense? Because there will be like, I get shit like that being a woman in my late 30s. Like people will be like, hey, interiors, you should be interested,
You
right?
mean late 20s, late 20s.
No, I truly don't. I truly like that's not. No one's gonna buy it. No one's. That's not a
Who's
thing.
gonna buy
No,
it? You don't know
come
that.
on. No,
You
yeah.
don't know that. It could
Someone
be look,
else.
last call at a bar, some guy
Oh,
that doesn't have good eyesight.
yeah,
Absolutely
that's.
would buy it.
It's just gonna try to give me like an underhand compliment. He can fuck off. Anyway,
It's the last
the
call,
thing is,
baby. It's anything goes.
yeah, no. I had a guy try to hit on me a few weeks, months, whatever ago, and
Yeah.
he and I realized at some point that he was sort of like she's an older woman. I'm like, oh cool, this is great. Like that's like he's where because he was in his early 20s or something, and he was
Of
sort
course,
of
of course.
going for the older woman. And I was like, I don't know, this is not go away. Like this is uncomfortable for me. This is where I draw the line.
That's where you
Pegging is
draw.
fine. Don't call anyway. What was I
Got it.
talking about? Fucking interior photos of like here's a nice living room and there's like a staircase going into the wall
Mhm.
up into the ceiling and there are 9 million windows and all these idiots, sorry for
Yeah.
the
You're
ableist
good.
language, in the comments being like, oh it's so beautiful, where is this, where can I buy the couch? Like there's no couch, it doesn't exist. It's an impression of a couch. And it's fascinating how fast it sort of just destroyed the field of interior photography or whatever the fuck that like styling, like it just taken over completely. Because of course if you can feed a bunch of pictures into a machine and go, hey, give me some dream places, they will give you a bunch of really really lovely places with some wonky staircases and you know an oven with 900 little knobs, but no one's going to care because it looks nice. And it's just that's a bunch of people who just lost their jobs because we
It
couldn't
is.
control ourselves. Like
It's nuts how it's different now because we went through something like this right before in our time where it was manpower and manual labor that was being replaced by machines. Remember that? Like people's jobs, like we went from 35 line workers to 5 line workers and 1 machine operator. A machine got rid of 30 people's jobs. It happened in the car industry. It happened if you worked at a factory, it happened in your field. And now it's like the corporate end that is seeing this for the first time, where people are becoming obsolete because of AI. It's a really, really weird time for sure. But
but I
we've
think
been through this before.
yeah, but I think the difference is like one thing is are the jobs, right? But there's just it's just the quality of whatever is going to come out at the
Mhm.
other end. It's going to be highly suspect. And I don't know. I feel like the technology is cool. I know there are going to be some great fucking things coming out of it, just not in the creative fields. And it is a sort of, I'm not going to name names here, but there is a comic writer who um like a reviewer had some things to say about how she felt about the things that he'd written. And he like she used some very specific words to describe what she felt was in the story. And then someone used like an AI scraper to make a bio of this comic writer. And it's just one of the things like it's recently been involved in the controversy around blah 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 blah. And it's so dangerous when you don't have people actually uh, sort of fact checking these kind of things,
Mhm.
because one sloppy bad review can turn into a truth in someone else's bio
Absolutely.
just because it's sort of auto generated. And of course it's cheaper, but then again, like like all if everything is going to lose its value, I'm not sure we're gonna get anywhere. Like it's just need to stop it, is what I'm saying. So let's hope that someone sues someone for a lot of money and they have to. I don't know. I like that. I do hope the discussion in the chat now is who's going to peg who, because I'm not gonna like say anything there. I do hope that you're discussing it. Like that's great.
Can you still write? Can you write Stiltman pegs the Marvel universe? That's so good. Does she live in Norway or did she move to the US?
She lives very much in fucking Norway. She lives in Norway, and when she goes to the cabin, that's in Sweden. So I'm sort of in Scandinavia, except for when I go to New York and ramble on with my buddies, which I'm doing in 3 weeks or something, just because I need to see the sun.
You're going to New York? That's what's up. I was going to ask you if you were going to go to C2E2 this year or not.
No, like if the thing is, if you want me on one of the cons, like if any of the American cons invite me, I always just say yes. But they have to bring me over, which is always like I understand that that's like an extra thing. Mm-hmm. But I love America. I can't help myself. Problematic though you are, it's my favorite place in the world. I've been watching Yellowstone lately.
You like that? You like Tyler's show? That's good. It's good.
The thing is, like that's what I wanted to. That was my childhood, right? Like I wanted to be a fucking cowboy. And what I don't understand about, well, I'm not going to go too political here. I'm just saying, if I can sit here in my socialist dreamland with like a slightly wet cunt because it's just so good, why wouldn't they get some Kevin Costner fucking lookalike like the Republican Party and run him in the election instead of doing Trump? I don't understand, because it's just, there's so much to love about America, and it's just like Yellowstone is like one Republican circle jerk, and I'm here for it. Like I just love it.
It's so good. I love all his movies and shows. He's so good at it.
It's so good.
And now it's going through its own drama. We can review Yellowstone another day.
Yes, please. Please.
I love Yellowstone.
Yeah, and I'm obsessed with it to the point where it's just. I don't even know, but
Have you seen the prequels? 1883 and 19. What was the other one? 1913.
No, but I will now.
1883 is so. Oh, you would. It's one season, and it's the family, right? That ends up with the. And then there's a follow up. James, where are you at, James? What's the name of that show? Is it 1923, 1913, something like that? Hi, Omar. I love Torunn. Yes. Everybody loves Torunn. We all love her. America loves her, so that's why she needs to come to more conventions so I can hang out with her. Fables.
Yes,
I love that series.
Of course I fucking have. It's so good. Like it is one of those classic ones that when I tell people, like, so if you want to get into comics, you can't sort of like you can, I suppose, get into the Marvel comics, but you have to understand all the drama and the continuity and everything. But you have some series that are just there. Fable is one of them. So yeah, very much. Oh my god! I'm gonna read through the fucking comments when we get, like, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Anthony Jackson, thank you for the super sticker, buddy. Anthony Jackson is a famous bass player I looked up to. He said, "The day I will be outplayed by a machine is the day they can bury me with the corn. No machine has outplayed him." And Elon's saying, "Take that to heart, Torunn."
But I think there's something to that, right? Like there's a reason why we keep
James, on it.
Oh, James, it's just I have this. I was going to say, in Weep, when you have like, just saying, I would like James to be my guy,
my behind guy. Yes.
He's on. Yeah.
And back to music. I'm on talk about music. The thing is, like, it's one of those. One of my favorite bands is like Pussifer, and everything like Maynard does is sort of I enjoy it, but there is a sort of like I prefer the live recordings because it's less like it's less produced. Like someone is sort of like you can just listen to the excellent songwriting and the great bass lines, and there is something to that, right? Like there's a reason why we keep playing instruments instead of just generating them. So I do hope that sort of stays, and I do find with AI art, especially with women,
like all the women have this sort of the same vacant beauty. Like it's just there's nothing special. It's just the same sort of. It's so beautiful, but it's just so boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that people who make interesting stuff are always going to be able to sell interesting stuff. The problem is that people also buy a bunch of mediocre shit, and they will, if people are selling it, they will buy it. And that's sort of the problem. And as you say, like huge corporations will save money doing this, so it will at some point happen. But I do hope that, especially with comics, given the sort of history of the medium and how it's sort of built on the best artist in the world, we might get away with them being like, no, let's calm down with the comics. I hope that they will still.
I mean, I think there are definitely publishers that are standing against it, right? That have made statements after realizing they hired somebody for being an AI artist. I'm not sure, but I also don't run these corporations. I don't know what it's like to be a publisher, to get things out on time, and so I'm sure, and I'm just a realist when it comes to these things. It's just the minute somebody does it, everybody else has to do it, or to save a buck, maybe.
And the thing is, like,
But I think you are right, though. I think you are 100% right. People will know this isn't good.
yeah, and it's the same. Like it is sort of.
Did I say bass or bass? I'm so sorry. Okay, go ahead, Torunn.
What just happened? Did you
I
just say
went back
that
to the previous
Anthony
comment.
played
I
in
think I
Fish?
called him bass or bass instead of bass. Look, you're lucky you're getting this much out of me. I'm still a little drunk. Do go on.
I'm just saying, like, there is something to, like, if you say the TikTok beauty, like everyone's using the same filter on TikTok, so they all look the same, and there's this sort of like there's something's happening. And when I like the 90s, when you looked at female beauty, it was such a like, can you imagine Sigourney Weaver with like lip fillers like that? That's like that sounds fucking horrible, right? But there is something happening now where everyone just looks the same, and everyone looks great on camera, but they don't look great in real life, and you lose something. And I think it's interesting that how we sort of like AI is really shit at recreating personality and expression in any sort of sensible way. But I'm sure it's going to change because it's going to be so much better in a few years. So we just need to get the legislation done now, I suppose.
My wife catches, like, it's my wife has now gotten really good at like catching AI generated homework, AI generated reports. What she's not good at catching, that I told her, was when she was looking at these YouTube shorts. I was like, why are you watching that AI garbage? And she's like, what are you talking about? I like this guy's voice. And I was like, baby, that's not a real man. Because he was talking about, like, it was like, I don't know what she was into. Whatever she was into that week, that's what she was watching. And I was like, baby, that's not that is a script that is generated by AI. And she's like, that's why he sounded so smart, but made a lot of dumb mistakes. Oh my God. Yeah, people don't realize it. That's what YouTube is pushing now, right? Like AI generated shorts, and it's insane.
And I think it's the horrifying part is just when you get to like there was a service of it might still be going on, I don't know, that you can buy ads that, like, if you wanted your parents to, like, or if you wanted your husband to go to therapy, you could buy specific ads, so he would get just plastered with a bunch of therapy ads, like therapy for men, and that's an interesting thing. But if you add in sort of the AI, we can have articles produced specifically for this specific thing that you want to change in someone. Like if you all the data we give away all the time, combined with AI, combined with people who are trying to change your mind in some way, is a fucking disaster waiting to happen. And if you add in the fact that people seem to like, I'm looking at AI stuff and I go like, no one's buying this nonsense, right? And then the comments
I'm the same way.
Thousands of people are buying this nonsense.
I look at channels that are on TikTok and YouTube, for example, that have taken away from the humanity, and that's the YouTube and TikTok algorithm pushing those channels on people. So they have already thousands of subscribers and way past what I have, but they're doing different things. Like they're giving you a minute video, giving you all the information you need, but they didn't do any of the work.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it takes some work to go write me a script about the first issue of Invincible.
Yeah, but the problem is
download pictures of Invincible issue 1, put it together. So they did. I'm sorry, I take it back. They did a little work, but it's garbage like that is being put in people's faces and people not realizing. Like my wife is an AI voice. It's an AI script, and that's what YouTube. At the end of the day, it's a business, and this is what I mean when I say at the end of the day, these are businesses.
But it's just
again,
getting back to the mediocre nonsense, right? Like so everything we take in is gonna, and I think what's gonna happen is that everyone's just gonna be like, well, everything is shit. So, and it's just like we're gonna just lose that sort of expectation of seeing something real and true instead of being like give us the real thing. People are just gonna be like, well, what do you know? Everything is shit anyway. So cool. And I don't know. This
is so true. Why don't you have a wine glass in your hand?
Because I have 2 deadlines. I have to
I can't believe you're here. Look. We need to wrap this up because I need you to get back to work. Or I'm sorry, I'm not your boss.
But I would like to have a wine glass. That is absolutely true. It's me. I should have. I realized like when I'm seeing my hand wave around.
You need James at your back.
James,
I need
poor fucking James. I would pay you
but
so
James
much.
already
I
knows.
would be so good to you.
Like James would already know that I've gotten you a wine glass ready behind it.
Hentai edging and pegging. Jesus.
Yeah, can we go? Somebody was asking, do you know about Mexican Gwen?
No.
Mexican Gwen Stacy.
No.
So Mexican Gwen Stacy said she's popular on this channel because I like certain attributes in ladies, and so do a lot of gentlemen and ladies that watch. But in Mexico, they continued the Hombre Araña line, the Spider-Man line, and when they were so backed up with stories that they couldn't reprint from America, they started writing their own. Kind of like the same case with like Marvel Man and stuff like that. So in those stories, Gwen Stacy lived. So they're known for their covers and the things that the artist did to Mexican Gwen Stacy
my God,
is give her some cake.
Yes, excellent. Perfect.
And so we are fans of that, and I'm trying to petition Marvel to translate that and make it into an omnibus, and I will volunteer my translating services.
Yeah, that's gonna. I would like you to keep trying to do that. That would be great.
Gay gal here, Mexican Gwen Stacy is live. People of culture come together.
Yeah. I also now love Mexican Gwen Stacy. This is excellent.
I mean, if that's not your avatar for something, I don't know what is. Like, wow.
The thing is, like, as someone who writes Red Sonja, like we love ourselves some sexy women. That was never the problem, right? Like we just we just like women to also have a personality as well. That's what we want. Just both of those things, ass and personality, please.
Right. Find yourself someone like that. Hey, Torunn, any plans to come back to Brazil?
Like, Walter, if you just get someone to invite me to go, like, and then come just protect me because I will wander off and do something stupid. Just, you have to be there. So if you're there, I'll go. Okay.
Never actually seen Mexican Gwen Stacy before. Well, now you have, my friend. Now
so happy, Logan.
This is good. You and Torunn.
I'm also happy. My life is a little better now.
It's what good. I try to do. I try to bring a little joy into people's lives every day, and
you do.
And
I would say in a much like bigger degree than most of us, including me. Like I would say that, except for when I meet this principal, I bring very little joy. Well, I mean, maybe in comics, but just well, maybe I do. Like if you like through Cletus Cassidy, I bring some joy to some people, but just in general, I don't.
Yeah, most people are like, man, I'm glad I'm not that guy. My life's not so bad, you know? So I do think that you bring a certain amount of joy in your life. Yeah, Logan, your life will never be the same. Torunn, are you a fan of the Studio Ghibli films?
I am fucking obsessed. I went to Tokyo and I went to the Ghibli Museum.
Did you go to the Ghibli Park? Because we went to the Ghibli Park and we're going back this year again, and I cannot wait.
It is like I cried for 4 hours or something. I was a different
So
person
beautiful.
coming out. Like it's just I don't know. It's just there's something there's some like the I don't understand how you can have a story that's seemingly about I don't know. Like there's no 3 act structure. There's no nothing. It's just beautiful. And I watched the My Neighbor Totoro live play in London a
How
few
was
couple of months.
that?
It was the most magical thing I've ever seen.
I
I
didn't even know it
cried
was a
again.
thing.
Oh, it's like it's an old Japanese sort of whatever you call it, like theater people. Like they did it in Tokyo and then it brought it to London, and I somehow was able to get some tickets. It was absolutely full, and it was just grown-ups crying together, crying and being delighted. It
Oh
is the
god, isn't
most
that
magical
such a
thing I've ever
beautiful
seen.
thing?
I don't know. I can't help it. Like and I know it's one of those like oh everyone loves Studio
What
Ghibli. Yeah, for a reason. Like it's
yeah.
just I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there are people that don't, right? Just like there's some people that don't like kittens or
People who are
puppies.
dead inside. I
So
mean,
that's where I was getting at.
yeah,
There's some people that also don't like puppies or kittens.
yeah.
What's your favorite one? You have to
Oh, I
choose
don't
one
know.
Studio Ghibli. Doesn't have to be by Miyazaki. My favorite one's not by Miyazaki, but
I think
what's yours?
possibly Spirited Away, just because it's
Hmm.
just so
Mhm.
something. I'm
Good
not
one.
sure, but it is sort of like it is one of those.
It's an Oscar winner for a reason.
Yeah, it's true. But then again, like we rewatched Howl's Moving Castle the other day, and again, like there's not a moment, there's not a missed opportunity anywhere in that movie. Like it's just beauty and heart and all the good stuff all the time. And I'm sort of obsessed with the aircraft. Like I do love my aircraft in general,
Mhm.
um, and I do prefer it when you have like historically accurate aircraft. But the way he does the airships, I don't know, it's a thing.
Oh, yeah, so you're also a fan of, like, The Wind Rises or Porco Rosso
Sure,
with all the airplanes? Oh,
all of it.
Porco Rosso is one of my favorites. I love that one.
It's so
Um,
fucking great.
they're all beautiful in their own way. I think for my wife and I, we really like the, um why did I just forget what the hell it's called? It was,
Ask
what's his
James.
it was James will actually know
James,
probably.
what is Omar's
What is
favorite
my
Studio
favorite
Ghibli?
Ghibli film,
Get on
James?
it.
Um I Can Hear the Ocean. Oh my gosh, it's the boy that falls in love with the girl because of a library card. There's a kind of a spin-off with the Cat Returns because that was kind of the story that she wrote. Oh my god, what the fuck's the movie called? I can hear nope. I just said that. Whisper of the Heart. That's my favorite one.
No.
Whisper of the Heart.
I've said that I was
Freaking love that.
picturing the movie and not remembering the title either, but it's one of my favorites, but it's not my favorite one.
I
But I do,
love it.
I find it sort of fascinating. The Ponyo movies. I that was a huge thing when my kid.
Us too. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we watched it in Norwegian, and then we watched it in English, and then kids were like, "Oh, we want everything Japanese always." And I do find it very interesting to see how sort of the language, like, they dumbed it down to it really dumbed it down in Norwegian, is what I'm saying. Like, um,
So I watch it in Japanese, and I love Neil Gaiman, and he wrote the American script for Princess Mononoke,
Yeah.
but I still watch it in Japanese because I don't know. There's just something really special about that. Everyone in life brings joy. Some when they arrive, others when they leave. My
yeah.
dad. So it's beautifully put. Beautifully put.
I just not to sort of destroy my like if the principal was here, I would not tell this, but we just lost someone, and I realized like, yeah, good stuff. That was a good thing. And
Um,
it is a horrible thing when you look at a life and you realize like, oh, there's like everyone's just like, well, it is what it is. Like you should. I think the goal should be that at least like 4 people would like to do something when you die. That's my goal. 4 people should raise a glass and go, "Oh fuck, that was too bad." That's what I'm going for.
that's your goal. I think you're gonna be really satisfied.
Let's hope so.
I can hire 3 people to come with me.
Good.
Just
I'm
kidding.
counting
You're
on you.
You're gonna
Good
be
thing.
fine. You're gonna outlive me. You're so much younger than I am.
No, I
Omar,
think
tell,
Oh,
David
okay.
Gabriel to get Torunn on a multiverse spinoff starring Gwen, Mexican Gwen, Peggy.
Don't tell Marvel about all the blood paying nonsense. Like this is
I'm not gonna tell them that.
That's not going to be good. Like we're so terrified of everything. Let's not bring European nonsense into.
Oh, is it a European thing? Oh my God, Bar, where have you been? You would love. Have you been? Have you
No.
watched the Torunn interview before, Bar? Bar is the sweet Israeli young lady. I was
Oh,
forced
she's the one who's going to run off with your wife.
with my wife, apparently. I was forced, and if I'm gonna lose my wife to somebody, I'm okay losing her
I
to
mean,
Bar. She's sweet, and
as long as you can kind of see why, because you don't want you to lose your wife to someone and be like, her.
that guy or that girl, right? Yeah, right. Like somebody that doesn't like Studio
So
Ghibli movies.
that person is still better than me. I
Yeah,
don't know.
not happening.
You would.
I was forced to go to a stupid Jewish before wedding ceremony. I much prefer being here. Believe me, I'm sure.
See, that's always like I would say that one of the things that I enjoy about Norwegian culture is just how like antisocial we are, because there are some people who do celebrate a lot. Like there is a lot of celebrations in general.
Mhm.
But and it's just I would have if I would have to see my family that much, I would fucking I don't know. Like it's I don't understand how you do it. Or maybe you can get to sort of because we do sort of passive aggressive nonsense. Just
Mhm.
years and years of passive aggressive nonsense, and then like a nod at Christmas. That's what we do.
I don't know about an
She's the
upgrade.
upgrade.
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, we were talking about you before you got online.
We
so
were. Yeah.
I mean,
So
and
maybe
in a
there's a little
good
bit of
way,
truth.
which is always nice.
Yeah, it wasn't anything mean,
No,
right?
no.
I don't do that. Torunn, before you leave, 'cause you know I know you have to go. You got a lot of deadlines.
Well, I mean,
What-
Walter is currently watching this instead of working. That's the main
Oh, okay.
problem.
So you both are got dead.
No,
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 maybe-
no,
maybe he's
I
grown.
need to finish my thing so he can
So
keep
he can draw.
working
Okay. And Walter is your artist on what?
on Red Sonja. He
Okay.
is a fucking marvel. And the thing is, that's the thing. I'm not gonna go off on a whole thing here, but one of the things
You
that
go
I
off.
truly enjoy about comics is that you have these artists who are like sincerely the best artists in the world, right? Like
Mhm.
if Walter ever wanted to do fine art, he would have to get a bit more pretentious, but he would kill it, right? But instead, he draws my silly stories and all the and makes it so hot and so cool, and it's the best. But right now, I do owe him a script that I promised that he would get yesterday, and he didn't.
Yes, this is so true. Bar steals Melanie. I am definitely flying to Norway. I was promised some reindeer stew.
I will.
And I
make
remember,
this stew.
and also, if you haven't seen the first interview with Torunn, Torunn also taught me how they flirt in Norway, which I think I would be really good at. So
Yep.
I kind of mastered that art a long time ago.
That's where the pegging comes from. That's the pegging origin story.
You brought it back.
No, I'm just saying that it's not me. It's the other
Of course. It's never you. My mother ironed her hair in the 70s. I remember my mom used to do that too. I remember that, man. My mom did the same
iron,
thing
like with a flat iron or
with a flat iron. Yeah, because that was like a hippie style thing they did. Yellowstone. All right, this is how we're gonna do this. Scotty G, what's up, buddy?
let's
Torunn
go
is
back.
fine.
Yeah, I want to answer this question.
Okay, Mary. Oh my God, where you're asking Torunn, right?
Yeah, I would like to
Casey Dutton, Beth Dutton, Monica Dutton.
I'd like to marry and fuck Beth, and then the other two can go.
I'm gonna kill both of them.
I don't see how we can fuck Beth and then just move on. And then
Beth is a crazy keeper, man.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Rip can just join us in general. It's gonna be good. We can all stay in the little
Monica's sharp,
cabin.
though. Monica is really sharp. That is one fine-looking lady. But Beth, oof.
Sure. It's just I just want the crazy in my life. It's just that's what I'm saying. And Casey's
Maybe
just
that's why you were
something.
the perfect person to be writing
Carnage,
right? I think we had a little psychoanalysis class here today.
Come very easily to me. Carnage. I love Cletus Casti.
YouTube demonetized this stream as soon as before I even went live. Like they saw Torunn Grønbekk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a thing?
It's so, dude.
Did I just?
but doesn't
I'm
matter.
so sorry,
Oh,
Omar.
don't
Next
worry.
time.
They'll
Next
still
time.
put their ads on
Please.
here. Don't worry, but I ain't getting a dime out of that. But it is completely worth it. You're one of my favorite people, one of my favorite creators, and I would always like to have you on.
You
'Cause-
will be on YouTube for free for me. Thank you so much. That's the big,
Well, I mean,
loveliest compliment anyone could give me. Thank you, Omar. I
It's
love being
completely
here
worth
though. It is sincerely my favorite like podcast to do. I don't
Oh,
feel like
thank
you
you.
never ask annoying questions. Like it's just
Oh,
good
I
questions.
don't think I've asked any, but no, I did. I said, "What are you going to be working on?" I do have to say, like, what other projects you got going on, so people can know where to look for your work.
Well, I
Currently, you
mean,
got Carnage, you got Red Sonja,
well,
you've got
the
the
thing is,
battle
we're
action.
currently doing like a crossover Venom Carnage. You should pick that up because it's just so bananas and fun, and it's Ken Lashley and Perry Perez. So why wouldn't you? Like, it's great. So that's something. But I don't know. Like, it's just like I have Red Sonja, I have Venom Carnage, and then Battle Action is coming up. But then there's just a bunch of things that I can't talk about that I
Mhm.
desperately want to talk about. But next time. Like if you will invite me back, I will come back and talk about,
Well,
the
when you're
other
coming
things.
back, you got to review Masters of the Air with me, and then
And you have to see it first. You have to suffer through.
have you
So
seen Madam Web?
oh, should I? Like
No.
honestly,
Oh,
like
it's so bad. It's so bad. Sydney Sweeney couldn't save that movie. That movie is bad. Yeah.
yeah, because
Uh,
the thing is, like, I can't tell if it's just like the people's favorite thing to bash on it, just because it's sort of it's bad, but it's not even entertaining. It's not even, okay. I'll skip it.
I have no clue. Yeah, right. I think there's a big difference, right? Like when there's something funny that you'll find, and then Madam Web the whole time. It was kind of like Cats for me when my wife drugged me to see Cats. I was like, there is nothing salvageable about this. This is awful, awful,
But
awful.
you went to the fucking cinema to
Of
see
course,
Cats?
I would. When your significant other wants you to go, you make sacrifices and you go. Just like she goes with me to do a bunch of stupid shit she doesn't want to.
Well,
I
the
mean,
thing
it's
is,
called marriage, right? And you get old enough that you can pick. Like, I'll do one dumb thing I don't really want to do this year, and that's it.
like, I really, truly, truly, truly hate like people mimicking animals. Like when I went to see Cats once in a sort of amateur theater thing, and
Okay.
they went around before the performance being cats, like touching people and doing the sounds and everything, and it scarred me for fucking life. Like I don't fuck with cats. It's
So wait. Then how do you see? This is what happens. You always start with something, and then that leads to the next question. Then how do you feel about furries?
Well, the thing is, furries, they sort of go for it. And that's a
Oh,
different
they
thing.
definitely go for it.
Yeah, and it's sort of like I think I would, if I ever went to a furry convention, I think I would have to uh, drink a little bit and maybe get into it. But I had a boyfriend once who made one of those purring sounds to try to be sexy, and it was like I think the kids call it an ick. Like it was just one of those immediate, just like like just we're
An
gonna
ick?
need a week apart, and then maybe I don't.
Yes. I had to.
I don't know.
It took me like a month to learn what Riz was. Somebody wrote Riz earlier, and I'm like, "What the
Yeah.
hell is that?" And okay, I got it. I think my kids taught me because they were talking about things, and I
I
was
just
like,
try
"What?
not to use shit like that in a sentence in any way, just because
46 years old? I'm not using Riz."
no, like I don't know.
I mean, I could try, but it's gonna make me look even stupider. Thank you, John. Here,
Thank you,
Torunn, for doing
John.
my part to
You
offset
are
the
a
demonetization.
star. I
What a
just need
what a
like
good
if
guy.
I need someone else to blame. Like you can't. I don't know how much money you make on. I don't know. I'm just saying. I feel horrible now. Next time, it's going to be so fucking clean. I
Thank you,
mean,
Colton. You may now be demonetized, but you did gain a Patreon. I appreciate that, my brother.
thank you, thank
This
you.
was so much fun. Thanks, Torunn. Omar, keep up the great work, brother. All these extra live streams lately have been really entertaining and well organized. This was so well organized. Right before we did this, we were like, what are we going to talk about? And I'm like, I don't know. It's my birthday and I wanted to have you on. So please come
But
on.
I mean, what we like if we do like a list, it's always going to be horrible. And all the questions, I'm sorry to say, like when you get questions about like they're always impossible. This is a lot more fun. This is great.
You
And
had a lot of
thank you, Logan.
MFK questions.
Sincerely, like this is sort of like I don't understand why, because sincerely I've always had a sort of like I can see why people would want to work with me because I know that I deliver something, but I
Mhm.
don't understand, and I don't just understand why people want to hang out with me. So this is just so weird to me, but very lovely. Thank you so much, guys.
I think we all know why people want to hang out with you. You're such a freaking joy to be around, and you
Yeah.
make people laugh, and you're quite the lady.
Oh,
Torunn, you are
a
a delight
lady.
and a joy. Yeah, I know. I use that term very. It's a Kentucky thing.
Yep.
A gentlemanly thing, and we love your interviews. Please join Omar and the company for one of their evergreen. Oh, that would be fun to have you. So we get together to talk about like what are the best books. Like if Marvel were to release like a list of 10 books that they keep in evergreen, always in print. What are the 10 omnis they would do? And like
Oh,
this week
that's cool.
we do like what X-Men books should always be in print. But then people suggested other things like who are the like at DC, who is the definitive like top 10 list of women at DC Comics, not like creators, because obviously you would be there, but like superheroes, right? And top 10, yeah, the same thing. And I was like, that would be really fun to have you on. You can
I
bring
think
your wine. We can do it
well,
earlier because we
I always
usually do it at like
feel
6 or so.
But I mean, yeah, I would have to watch. The thing is, I always feel really weird about talking about like sort of current Marvel runs. Like I
Mhm.
don't want to like say anything bad about my colleagues, if you know what I mean, or give them to. I don't want their heads to get too big either. I don't know, but evergreens, I think we could do evergreens, movies,
I
TV
think.
shows.
Oh, you come and review some. Yeah, Amanda texted me. I guess she was watching. She's like, "You make sure that tell her that she's invited, please." And I said, "I got it. I got it." Tarunn's extremely excited to see where you take my symbiote friendos.
I'm very happy to hear it, and I mean, I'm taking them to hell as that's usually where they end up, not at the actual hell, just the literal, the the symbolic. It's going to be a hard time for everyone, but in a
Oh,
nice.
Thought Bubble needs you, Torunn.
Yeah, but just tell Thought Bubble that they should invite me because I would love to go. I've gone to Thought Bubble a bunch of times, but last time I went there, I just got a table, and I hung around, and it was a little overwhelming because that was my first trip to the UK after Marvel, and it
Mhm.
turns out you can't just stay at a table for 8 hours at a time when you're writing for Marvel because people will be there at the table for 8 hours at a time. And if I am delightful, I am not delightful after 8 hours of small talk. I can assure you, especially after I had like,
You
oh,
have a social. You have like a social battery. I have friends that have social batteries that
I
get depleted after so many hours, and they have to save. There's like when I had a party last night. Some of my friends were talking about the social batteries, and I was like, what the hell is a social battery?
why
Because
are you telling me on my birthday, you idiot? I-
they were kind enough to save their social battery for my party. And I thought, oh, that's right. Not everybody likes to be around people and talk to people, but
The thing is, like, I try to be funny. That's my problem. And I'll tell half of this story because the second half is so fucking horrible. But I had a guy once who came up to my table and he bought a limited edition comic book from me, and it was uh, signed and numbered, and it was number 37. And he went
mhm.
all innocent, like he went 37. That's my favorite number, and I know why he would have 37 as his favorite number as a guy in his like early 40s. Like I know, but I want to torture him. So I go, but why? And I look like a proper person.
But
Like
so you played the dumb.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, of
you had
course.
never watched
I
you
would
never watched Clerks. Okay.
everyone first. I just want him to tell me, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I go, why? And he dies. Like he's so uncomfortable. He's so obviously uncomfortable. I'm like, well, why? It's just such a specific thing, 37. and he's so uncomfortable, like he's so fucking uncomfortable. So at some point I have to go like, oh, I know it's because of the blowjobs and the 37 and everything. So I'm the
37.
one there.
I love
37.
I love Clerks so much.
I do that thing, but the thing is like, and
My,
then but
my
I'm the
favorite quote
one.
about that was like, "Hey man, at least I wasn't number 36."
The thing is, it's so fun and it's so good, and but it is sort of, he just didn't think that was the thing. and it definitely didn't want to talk to me about blowjobs. But I was going, right. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to fix it because he's obviously uncomfortable. So I'm just standing there talking about blowjobs and everything. And I decide to tell him a story about how sometimes women can get away with things that men can't. And it's sort of the punchline. I'm not going to tell this story because it's fucking awful. And the punchline is horse fucking, which is just, again, it was a joke. Like, it was a joke. I'm just
Mhm.
saying he gets even more uncomfortable somehow. And I'm just like, why is he still here? Like, why? Like, just go. Like, if you're so uncomfortable, why don't I just keep talking? And then I realize, like, I have his change in my hand. So I hand him his change and he fucks off, just out of the convention. And I'm just stood there being like, oh no, no. And that's when I need a break. That's my point. Like, I can't do cons for 8 hours because I do shit like that. And then
But he will always remember that story. So what's what's the second part? You said it was so awful.
oh, it's so bad. I can't tell. If you could do like a let's like it's so bad. I'll tell you after, but it's just
Okay. Well,
yeah.
maybe look, I'm serious. If you want to come and do a after hours talk, we can do it on Patreon. That way it's not public.
Ah, excellent.
But
I'll tell the
I
I'll
told
tell the
you that's
story.
what people have been wanting me to ask you to come and do, and I was like, I'll ask. Yeah, sure.
No, I'll do
Um,
that. As long as it's
okay.
not saved on YouTube for everyone to see for all eternity. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we don't need that. Okay, I
Okay.
got it. I got it. All right. This is from Marcus. This is Marcus here. Thank you for your message. Unfortunately, I can't be here live, but I surely love this.
Oh yeah, Marcus sent me a message. Like, I read it today, where he said, "Oh, it's seen the previous two," and he said, "You're delightful, and you should have your own podcast." And I was having a breakdown because I was
Mhm.
having one of those days where like no one wants to talk to me today, and it made me feel so good. Thank you, Marcus. That was great. Excellent timing for that little pep talk. I
No
should
one wants
not
to
have a
talk to you.
podcast though; it would be horrible.
What do you mean? No one wants to talk today.
Oh, I was. I didn't know.
You go through
It's
that?
The thing is, until I was able to break the little thing in the Red Sonja script, I was really hating myself. But now I got high on being able to, yeah. So now I'm
Oh,
fine. I'm back
I
to
got you. So now
all
we're
my
good.
self-worth is based off of work. So if I don't deliver, I'm a horrible person. That's just how it is.
Gotcha. Okay. So not only is this lady talented, smart, beautiful, and a painter, but also she's working on other projects that she can't talk about. But what can you tell us
I
that you're
thought there was going to be like a punchline there, but like, and she hates herself. Like, I thought that was. Because I was just like nodding away there, like,
we
yeah,
all need to be
smart,
reminded every
beautiful,
once in a
all the
while.
horrible, and a fucking mess.
And she's a little bit of a mess, but I'm all here
Mhm.
for that. I'm all here for that. That is actually I look for that. That's the kind of thing I would look for in a woman. Somebody that doesn't have it all together, but who really does.
Mm.
What projects are you working on that you can talk about?
It's kind of that's a very hard question to answer.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can't because it's sort of in the right there in the question. I'm just saying it is. It's the joy of my life. That's what
the
it
joy
is.
of your life is what you're working on. No, I mean that you can talk about.
Oh, what I can't talk about. Well, I mean that's Venom, Carnage, Red Sonja,
Mhm.
Battle Action, Lois Lane.
Lois Lane, okay.
Yeah. And I'm trying to go through my little. I have a bunch of other stuff too, but none of them are announced. I think.
Okay. Make sure we don't do that. We don't break any NDAs because
Mhm.
but very excited for it. Very, 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 very excited for you. Go and check out her paintings, go and check out her work. And I just want to thank you again for being here.
Thank you for
You've
having
been
me.
oh
It's always a fantastic time, and I'm sincerely like the first time I sent my father, who he doesn't understand what I'm doing. I sent him to read the comments because they were so nice, and I was like, "Don't watch shit, just read the comments." People
don't
like
watch
me. I
the
swear.
video.
Fucking, there are people on the internet like it. They enjoy me. It was great.
She's got a hell of a recipe for reindeer stew that I would love
I
to
do.
try one day. And I'm taking her to Waffle House when she comes to a
Can't
convention.
fucking wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. But everybody, thank you so much. And if you're watching this later, leave those wonderful comments because Torunn will go back and read them.
Yes, I will.
Words of encouragement. But that's it, everyone. Stay healthy and safe. Thank you for joining us. And I will be back at 6:30 with Peter M. To talk about the upcoming X-Men books, and talk about the possibilities of other people writing said stories and who we would like to see working on said titles that were revealed.
And by that time, he's going to be a little more hungover.
No, I'll be fine. I'm too old and too professional to have a hangover. Everyone stay healthy and safe. I will see you later.
Love you guys. This was beautiful. Lovely.